All right, here we go. Tariq Nasheed, welcome back to Vlad TV.
Back, yes indeed.
This is not a total surprise because this kind of came together based on some comments that I made about foundational Black Americans and some of the situations that are happening right now with like a boycott with African hair shops and so forth. And I made some comments. I just want to apologize for the comments that I made. At the end of the day, I felt like it was coming from a good place, but I'm not Black. And I think I overstepped my bounds.
As you do sometimes.
As I do sometimes. Yeah. And my man Willie D actually called me up. And during the course of the conversation, I said, well, you know who would be a good person to get into this conversation was my man Tariq Nasheed. You know, in terms of the FBA guys that I know, he's the biggest one, and he's, you know, a regular guest on the show. Matter of fact, let me call up Willie real quick. Let me get him on the phone. Hold on a second. Willie, hold on one second. I got Tariq right here.
What's up, Will?
What's up, Tariq?
How you doing, bro?
Shit, I can't call it. I might start.
There it is. Like you out there exercising.
No, man, I'm just in the backyard.
Okay.
Cool. Should you turn the volume a little bit?
Turn the volume. Okay, yeah. So I'm here with Vlad. Vlad wanted to give you a call real quick. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, what's good?
So yeah, Vlad was saying that he was making comments about the lineage, and y'all corresponded, and you said that it would be a good idea for him to kind of reach out to me and get me in the conversation.
That was actually my idea.
It was your idea.
Yeah,
okay.
It was my idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And I concur.
Okay. Okay.
You got a lot of knowledge about this. You know, what I was telling Vlad is that I understand both sides. I personally don't believe that we're going to be as successful as we want to be if we don't figure out a way to come together. And that's not just the diaspora. That's even on the ground right here in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to figure this shit out, bro, because this is the reason why they've been so successful at keeping us from reaching our optimum in the first place. You know, but people, having said that, people got to understand that everything that they get from this country, the people that want to come here so bad, the reason why they want to come here so bad is because of the opportunities that we made for them.
Right.
It was
right.
They're standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. Standing on the shoulders of the people that came before us post-slavery.
Right.
And they're standing on our shoulders because we keep this, we're the glue that keep this raggedy motherfucker together. You know what I'm saying? Like we are the glue.
Right.
So my thing is that there's strength in numbers, but only if the numbers are not divided. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and we have to understand that all the lineages has to be respected. You got to respect everybody's lineage. You could still come together, but we still respect people and their individual lineage. We respect our Jamaican brothers. We respect the Nigerian brothers. We respect everybody. We don't have a problem with everybody recognizing their lineage and putting respect on it. And we're asking the same. We want people to give us the same respect and not try to rename us and reclassify us in their own terms. So we are taking the lead and the initiative to let people know what our lineage is. And that's all it is. It's not about dividing. It's not about divisiveness. It's not about division. We're just letting people know what our lineage is and how it should be respected. And we are going to gatekeep it so that we're not constantly exploited. So that's what I'm going to break down to Brother Vlad today. I'm going to break that down to Vlad.
Exactly. That's what's popping right there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you said a mouthful.
Yes, sir.
Break it down. I know you got this, man. I know you got it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, brother. Good to talk to you. Well, I'm going to holler at you in a minute. All right, brother. All right. Here we go. Got it.
Well, look, Willie's someone who I respect a lot. Very close friend of mine. Yeah,
love Willie.
Very good friend of mine. In fact, when I addressed the whole Farrakhan misquote, I purposely flew down to Houston to do his show to actually address that. So when he called me about this, I took that phone call very seriously. And like I said, of course, the phone call, I said, let me include you in the conversation. And at the end of the conversation, I said, well, let me bring Tariq on my show to publicly address it as opposed to this private conversation. Let me learn something and let me apologize for overstepping my bounds. And here we are.
Right. Now let me ask you, Vlad, what gave you such a negative disposition about what foundational Black Americans mean?
I don't think it was a negative, approach to it. It was just an approach of unity as opposed to separation. And I just felt like, as someone who has, half Black kids myself, I want them to embrace everybody, and I want everyone to embrace them.
Right.
And I felt that in this particular situation, I was seeing kind of fault on both sides. I wasn't saying, oh, this group is wrong and this group is right. I just felt like a division with two people who, from the outside looking in America, look the same to people, to white people and to the police and so forth, to people who actually have negative intentions. Certain people have negative intentions towards them. And I just felt like, when I heard about the whole, the boycotting of the African hair shops, I was just like, I don't know. It just didn't sit right on me.
Yeah.
And maybe because I didn't understand the whole thing.
Right. And that was basically one person on TikTok.
But it went very viral.
It did go viral.
It did go viral.
And you know why it went viral? It went viral because a lot of African and Caribbeans, they started using that as an excuse to attack Black Americans. So they made thousands of videos like, oh, the Black Americans ain't shit to these niggas. It was a whole bunch of that. That made it go viral. So yeah.
So it was going back and forth.
It was going back and forth. But it started up with one person talking about doing a boycott, and then that was the excuse for everybody to just kind of dogpile on the situation and blow it up even more. All right, so Vlad, you mentioned your children,
yes,
babies, and part of their lineage, do they come from, is that lineage part of an immigrant background?
I don't think so. I believe it's mostly Black American background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Southern Black American?
I believe so.
You believe so?
I believe so.
You would know.
I believe so. Well, no, I think it's mostly, it depends on how far back you go. Like, I think it's mostly East Coast, like New York and so forth. But, depending on how back how back you go.
Kind of Freudian slip is that?
You've always seen kind of the immigration, the movement from the southern states into the northern states.
Right, they were.
So I know, because I know I think they do have some relatives like in Florida and stuff like that. So it might be kind of
is it possible that somebody, they got Caribbean ancestry? Is it possible?
I don't.
Because you would know.
Not that I specifically know.
Okay.
But they haven't done DNA tests and so forth.
No, you don't even have to do DNA tests. You never been to a family reunion?
No.
Okay. It's possible there's some kind of immigrant background.
Possibly, yeah.
It's possible.
And I'm an immigrant myself.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. And that's the thing. What makes a foundational Black American is that we don't have immigrant lineage. That's the thing. That's what makes you a foundation. It's not a group. It's not an organization. It's not something that you join. It's acknowledging the people who are literally the foundation of this nation. Me, on both sides of my family, I have no immigrants in my family. My mother and father, both lineages come from the South.
Okay.
From the beginning of this country. I can trace my lineage to the mid-1700s on paper, and it goes deeper than that. So that's what we talk about when we mean foundational Black American. We're just acknowledging our lineage and the importance and significance of it in this country, because we are a very unique ethnic group. That doesn't mean that we're better or worse than anybody. We are a unique ethnic group with a very unique history here. And we want people to give that the same respect that we give other people. There's the thing, Vlad, where people want to make us generic Africans. The term African American is a misnomer. That was a term that got popularized in 1988 by Jesse Jackson, the Congressional Black Caucus, and the Democrats. No, we as a group, we never called ourselves African American. I think the term African American was in a book in the 1700s by a Black preacher. I forgot what the guy's name, but that was the only time we would see that term during slavery. That was a term that we generally didn't use. Really, it didn't get popular until the late 80s. And the term was given to us, and that term was given to us to make us comparable to immigrants. It was to say that we're just like an Italian American. We're just like a Mexican American. So that was to basically almost sanitize our unique history here. And that worked against us. The term African American is a misnomer. Elon Musk is an African American.
Right. South African American.
Yeah, but African American still.
Correct.
There's a lot of people from places like the Sudan and other places who are African Americans. And, they'll have a lot of vitriol towards us here. So the term African American is a misnomer. So we wanted a term that was more indicative of who we were and who we are. And that's where foundational Black American comes from.
Okay. Now, the argument is,
Mm-hmm.
well, technically, your people did come from Africa. They didn't immigrate because they wanted to. They were stolen and forced to come over here. But there was a movement from Africa into America, but that happened hundreds of years ago. So that's why you're differentiating from people who came over maybe 1 or 2 generations ago?
Right, so that's the thing. There's two things that happened. There was people brought over from Africa, but in smaller numbers, very small numbers here. Most of the people brought over from Africa didn't come to North America. Most of them were taken down to Brazil, taken to the Caribbean. I think it was less than 6% of the people brought from Africa who made it over here to North America. Those people who were brought over here from Africa, they were mixed in with the indigenous and black indigenous tribes here, where there were a lot of black people who were already here. Several archaeologists and historians and other people, they proved this. There's a white archaeologist and historian back in the 70s and 80s. His name was Alexander von Wootnow, and he wrote some books, and he was working with the Smithsonian and all of these other museums showing, the book is called Unexpected Faces in Early America, and he talks about all of these Negroid figurines and statues and monuments that were here for thousands of years, proving that black-skinned Negroid-looking people were here on this land. There's a great book by a brother named Chase McGee. A young brother wrote a book with a lot of facts and receipts in it talking about the 19 white men who said they saw black people in the Americas. And he just went down the list of all of the explorers who got here and saw the natives, and they described them the same way they described African people. So there was already a black presence here. So that black presence here mixed with the Africans who were brought in, and then there was an ethnogenesis, and we became a new group, you see. So that's what the argument is, not that we don't have African DNA. Of course we have African DNA. I have African DNA. Most people on the planet have African DNA. But we had an ethnogenesis the same way a Jamaican had an ethnogenesis. They don't call themselves African Jamaican. You're Jamaican. You got a very unique history. When you see a Jamaican, their culture is unique. The food, the music, the style. Haitians the same way. I was in Fiji about a year or so ago. Beautiful people, beautiful black people with afros, and they told me their origin story. They're like, hey, brother, you know, our origin comes from East Africa. We came from East Africa centuries ago, and they were telling me all of the words that were over there that are in their vocabulary, and they were breaking this down. Fijians, they don't call themselves African Fijians, even though they acknowledge their African genesis. They had an ethnogenesis and became a whole different ethnic group. Same with us. We became a new ethnic group. We had a new culture, new style, new food, culinary things. We created a whole music, everything. The thing is, we are supposed to be an exploited, undefined, generic class. This is what the dominant society wants from us. So we're never supposed to define ourselves. They always give labels to us. You guys are colored. You guys are Negro. You guys are people of color. You guys are minorities. You guys are African American. And that has weakened us. So now we say, you know what? We're foundational Black Americans. And that's what it is. And that kind of shook up the table. Now that's a big discussion online now, you know?
Yeah, I actually looked it up while you were talking. So you're right. 388,000 enslaved Africans were brought directly to the United States out of over 12 million people who were forcibly transported across the Atlantic. Now, it would have been more, but then a bunch of them died.
Right.
The whole Middle Passage situation.
And then in the early 1800s, they stopped the importation of African people. They stopped it. But the population was still growing. Why? Because there was already black people here. Already here. California, there was a whole bunch of black people here, the Mojave Indians, the Ohlone Indians. You got paintings and pictures of them. California is named after a black woman, by the way, Queen Califia, based on a Moorish story from Spain. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I assumed this was a Mexican name just because so many of the cities, San Francisco, Los Angeles, like these are all, you know.
Yeah, but
California was some sort of Mexican thing.
It's based on Califia. That's an Islamic word. Yeah, you know.
I learned something new today.
Yeah. The Moors, they were Muslims who were in Spain. And they brought a lot of Moors over here. When the Spanish explorers came, they brought a whole bunch of Christianized Moors over here. They had to convert them to Christianity. So when we talk about Mexico, Mexico was a slave colony too. People forget about that.
Really?
Yeah. Mexico was a major slave colony.
Huh.
Yeah,
because Spain came over and
Spain
started
came over and they had
people.
slavery.
Oh, yeah, of course. They speak Spanish over there. It's not like that's the native language.
Right.
Yeah, on this whole hemisphere, really.
Yeah, a lot of the culture, the fandango and menudo, all of these things come from, African culture. Even the Spanish rice. What the hell is Spanish rice? It's basically like a form of jollof. But
I like jollof better.
Yeah, one of the first presidents of Mexico, Vicente Guerrero, he was black. And he was the one who ended slavery down there. So and Pio Pico, he came up here from Mexico. He was black and Hispanic. That's what Pico Boulevard is named after.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was a heavy black presence down in Mexico that people like to forget. That's where the Olmec heads were. You go down to Tabasco, Mexico, you got these giant Olmec heads of these black people. You got pyramids down there called the Bone and Pack murals, where you got black people from thousands of years ago with black skin and dreadlocks down in Mexico. So yeah, Mexico had an indigenous black presence as well.
Well, this subject, I think, went more viral with the recent Esquino interview that I did.
Oh, okay.
But I did talk about it with other guests, some of which you know personally. So, for example, Michael Jai White.
My brother.
Who he spoke highly of you. You'd been to his home and, and so forth. He wasn't familiar with the term.
Right.
Until I brought it up.
Right. And then you brought it up the wrong way. You kind of misrepresented.
Did I?
You
saw the interview.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw that
so
bullshit.
I'm gonna play
bullshit.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, there's something called FBA. They don't like Africans. You're like, what?
Okay, so this is his response.
So if you say it like that,
okay, so this is his response to when I brought it up.
Yeah.
Like I said, he learned about that term when I brought it up to him.
Right, because we don't foundational black Americans don't sit around saying, hey, how are your lineage? Just, it is what it is. But go ahead.
This was his response.
Yes.
People spend a lot of energy on shit that, to me, is inconsequential. Maybe it's wrong of me to just kind of paint it with that brush, but it sounds ridiculous.
The way you said it sounds ridiculous.
It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
It sounds like putting a lot of energy into things that I don't think are very progressive.
He's answering your janky narrative of it. So yeah, the way you said it does sound ridiculous because it was some bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, so of course he's going to say that. So yeah, you misrepresented it.
Okay, fair enough. And listen, I am not here to die on this hill.
Yeah.
I'm here to learn.
Right.
And I'm here to, like I said, apologize and say that I think I've stepped over the line and so forth. I'm not trying to have, this whole situation keep ballooning and me be stubborn about it and so forth, because this whole, thing started with someone I respected a lot, Willie D, calling me about it. Now, the other person that I brought this up to was D.L. Hughley.
Yes.
Did you see that interview as well?
I think I saw a little bit of it.
Okay, so I'm going to play a clip of this.
And shout out to DL. DL
Yeah,
solid
that's my
dude.
man.
Yeah, good dude.
We didn't call ourselves black, they did. We didn't tell ourselves. They told us who we were. They told us remember at one point in America, one drop of black blood made you black. And now the very people that made us black are telling us what black is.
Right, not
so
black enough.
I can understand the argument. I don't buy into it, I don't agree with it. Because I think, if you look at the diaspora, they went all over. Every place that didn't have black people indigenously came from the slave trade. So we all had the same fight. I remember I used to go to Jamaica years ago, and they had Africa, Jamaica, and America on a T-shirt that said One Blood. And I think that this fragmentation, although I understand the passion behind the argument, I think that we are one collective, and I think dividing us, it's like having a no peeing section in a pool. Like it's the I don't get,
you don't get pee on you, someone pees.
I don't get how
I
don't get how it works.
it. That was his take on it.
Right.
Once again, a person that we both respect. This is not someone that's just trying to cause problems or whatever.
Of course.
I think that was an intelligent answer on his part as well. What's your take on that?
My thing is, if you frame the narrative as if when you say foundational black American, it's some type of subgroup or something, that's going to just cause confusion. We're talking about a lineage. So it's not something that you can choose to join or quit or disparage. Your lineage is your lineage. And when other groups respect and recognize and celebrate their lineage, it's not a problem. They have the Jamaican Day Parade. It's not a problem. We celebrate that. They have the
West Indian Day parade.
West Indian Day.
Yeah.
West
But the
Indian.
Jamaicans have their own floats and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
They got their, but in New York and Brooklyn, they turn up out there.
Oh, yeah.
And people respect it.
No, I've been there, yeah.
When I was in New York a few months ago, they had the Puerto Rican Day parade. They turn it up in New York, and we respect it. It's only divisive when we say, hey, we're going to respect our lineage too. We have a unique lineage, and we want to respect our ancestors. We want to respect the Harriet Tubmans and the people from this lineage who did phenomenal work, and not just cast us as generic Africans. It becomes a problem. And I think it becomes a problem because so many people expect us to be this generic group that they can extrapolate culture from, because we've created American culture. American culture is foundational Black American culture. Everything great culturally about America comes from foundational Black Americans. I'm talking about the food, the clothing, the style, all the music genres, the activism, the 14th Amendment, where people can come over in this big immigration situation. The 14th Amendment, that came from foundational Black American grassroots. That was a grassroots movement. Octavius and William Nesbitt and people like that coming out of Philadelphia fighting for that 14th Amendment to be put into the Constitution. So we've done so many phenomenal things as a lineage, and we just want that to be recognized.
Well, what do you think of, when you look at other countries, they don't have this whole one drop rule. Right? For example, when I was in Brazil, I was with my friend Mike, who is half Black, half Russian. And we were talking to a group of girls, and they're like, oh, you're not Black, you're Moreno. Black is, my friend over there, who's more like African looking. You are Moreno. And this is the term that we use here to describe people that look like you. And remember, like, Tyla was on The Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
There was a whole thing. She's like, oh, I'm colored.
Right.
And then that became a whole thing. Like, her album just sold 3,700 copies. And people are saying that it's somehow tied into this kind of narrative that she created. I had Charlamagne on my show the other day. We talked about that.
Yeah, she should have addressed that instead. I remember when Charlamagne asked her about it, which was a great question. She looks at her people.
She looks at her handlers,
Yeah, that rubbed people the wrong way. It seemed evasive and it seemed dishonest. She should have tackled that and said, hey, in South Africa, we have these color caste systems. And over there, they consider me colored, and they got this and they got that. Over here, but I'm trying to bridge the gap. She could have spun that a different way instead of being just evasive about it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about this whole one drop rule?
That's from the white supremacists. See,
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's stupid.
Yeah, that's the white supremacists. That was something for them to stop miscegenation. That was for them to scare white women, to let them know, look, if you get with this brother, you're gonna have a Black child, and all of your offspring is going to be Black. That was something to scare white women away from messing with brothers.
Really?
Because white men, they were going roughshod on the plantations, creating whole races of people. All of the octoroons and mulattoes and quadroons, that was white men.
What's a quadroon?
Quadroon is a quarter Black. Yeah, that's
okay.
a quarter Black.
Quad. Okay,
yeah, quadroon. So octoroons, all of these racial categories, these Creoles, that was white men doing that, having sexual relations and forcing sexual relations with Black women. So that one drop rule, all of a sudden there's this one drop rule. If you're getting one drop of Black blood makes you Black. That was something to put on the white women to stop miscegenation going in that direction. They had to so-called protect white women from the sexual Black brute. And that's where all the lynchings and all of that. The white feminist movement came from that too.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, like I said, I have biracial kids, and they know they're Black, but they also know they're Jewish. They also know they're Russian. They also know they're Ukrainian. They celebrate Christmas. They also celebrate Hanukkah. I want them to know about all of their cultures and everything they come from. I've done DNA tests. I have Bedouin roots, which is like, from the Middle East and so forth. Like, they should embrace all of this. I don't think anyone should say, well, because society says I'm this, then I'm just this. And I'm going to ignore all the other sides of who I am.
Right.
You should embrace it all.
And it should be the same with foundational Black Americans. We should be able to say, hey, look, we don't have to give props to some African warlord from 2,000 years ago that we really have no connection with. We got great ancestors here. We got Ida B. Wells here. We got Rosa Parks here. We got Frederick Douglass here. We have John Horse. We got so many foundational Black American icons of our lineage that we can give props to. That's very unique and significant to us. It might not be significant to other groups, but it's significant to us. These are our ancestors on our land. So we should be able to give props to them and pay homage to that history without people saying that we're divisive for doing so, because when they do it, it's not divisive.
Do you know about Plessy versus Ferguson? Tell me about this case.
Plessy versus Ferguson, that was, let me see, is that the one in Louisiana? That
9/10 black ain't black enough.
Right.
That's where that term comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that's the Louisiana one, right? Can you look it up real quick?
It's the landmark U.S. Supreme Court case established the doctrine of separate but equal,
Right.
which upheld racial segregation as long as the facilities provided each
Right. From
race was supposedly equal in equality, which was never really the case. I mean,
Right.
yes, you had white bathrooms and black bathrooms, but the black bathrooms were not.
Yeah, so what it was in that,
like the white bathrooms.
So what I remember in that case, I think it was down in Louisiana. This guy was a Creole. He was Creole. He could pass for white, and he got on a train.
Exactly.
Right. He got on the train.
They told him to get off.
Yeah, they told him to get off because a black person recognized him. He was passing for white, but somebody black recognized him.
There you go.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, this.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I'm 9/10 white.
Yeah, they're like,
you ain't white enough.
They ain't white enough. Right. So you're gonna have to separate. You got to get back there in that Jim Crow car.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole separate but equal thing. But it was never equal. It was always.
It was just separate.
It was just separate.
It was just another example.
And truth be told, segregation was never really separate for white people. White people could always go into black neighborhoods. They could always go into the Jim Crow era areas. The whole Rosa Parks situation, a lot of people think that Rosa Parks tried to get up and sit in the white section. That's not true. The rule was if the colored section was filled up and the white section was filled up, white people can go and make a black person get up out of the colored section.
Oh.
Okay? That's what that was about. Rosa Parks was already in the colored section on the bus.
Oh.
But a white man told her to get up out of there. She's like, no, I'm not getting up.
Yeah.
That's why she got arrested. Right. She wasn't trying to go to the white section.
Yeah. Yeah, man,
So it's never been a both side thing. Only black people were segregated. White people can go into black neighborhoods anytime they felt like it. You know? They would go to the juke joints, to the red light district all the time. They stayed in black neighborhoods all the time.
Yeah, man, I just hope there's at some point in the future where everyone is just so intermixed that it just stops being an actual issue. You know, a couple thousand years in the future. I don't know when. That's not going to happen in our lifetime, unfortunately. We are where we are. But it makes me sad as someone who does have mixed kids, you know, for them to be treated a certain type of way just because they look a certain type of way. It's just sad. It's sad. And like I said, this whole thing with my comments, they came from a good place.
You think so?
I think so. I think so. They did. Because really, it was really more of a unity thing. It wasn't more of a like, let's keep. I didn't get behind either party and say.
Yeah, and when people talk about unity, every time we talk about our lineage, the conversation gets into unity. Listen, whether we want to unify or not, there's 43 million foundational black Americans. It's 43 million plus. Some want to unify, some might not. That doesn't have any bearing on their lineage. You understand? There's some Jewish people who want to unify with people. There's some Jewish people who don't.
Right.
You don't stop being Jewish. You know what I'm saying?
True. Right. It's a race thing.
It's yeah, right.
As well as a religion thing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to stay that, no matter what your ideology is. And what happens is when it comes to us talking about our lineage, people try to collapse the conversation into individual choices. Yeah, there might be somebody who don't want to unify, but that's an individual choice. That doesn't have any bearing on the lineage. Your lineage is still your lineage. That's what we want people to recognize. There's nothing to really negotiate. People are like, well, what about this? Our lineage is foundational. That's nothing, you can't change that. We were here at the very beginning. The United States would not exist if it were not for foundational black Americans. The people who were here at the very beginning who stood on business.
Yeah, and were forced to do labor for free, which allowed the country to grow more quickly than if you had to actually pay those people.
And I'll use the argument, that's like Michael Jackson making Thriller. Michael Jackson made the best album in recorded history, the biggest selling album.
I agree.
People will say, well, Joe Jackson was abusive and forced him to do all that stuff. And yeah, Joe Jackson pushed him, but you don't give credit to Joe Jackson. You give credit to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, by that time, Joe Jackson was, not in the picture in the same way. That
But
he was in
still,
the
but,
Jackson
but
5
let's
and a
be
kid.
very clear.
Yeah.
And even Michael said if it wasn't for Joe really putting that on him, Joe made
Joe was
him
a maniac.
Yeah.
I met Joe before.
Oh yeah.
He kind of snapped at me a little bit during our meeting.
Yeah. Oh damn. Yeah.
You notice we took a picture together. I tried to put my arm around. I said, "Don't put your arm around me."
Oh damn.
I said, "Okay, my bad.
Yeah, Joe wasn't nothing to play with. Joe wasn't nothing to play with. But that, even though they said Joe kind of went overboard, he made Michael great. Joe made Michael great.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, you've addressed this before. Is Drake a foundational Black American?
Right. He's not a foundational Black American, even though his father's a foundational Black American.
Okay.
Drake is Canadian. He's a Canadian.
He grew up in Canada.
But
his dad is from Memphis.
Right.
Okay.
And Drake grew up in a different culture. He was born in a different culture, grew up in a different culture.
Grew up in a Jewish culture.
Right.
His mom was Jewish. He grew up with Jewish relatives.
Had a bar mitzvah, the whole thing.
Had a bar mitzvah. That's what I say, is Drake the greatest Jewish entertainer? People are like, he's Black. He's like, he's also Jewish. In fact, I almost felt like Drake embraced his Black side as an adult.
Right.
Later on, really not even as an adult, as a rapper. When he became a rapper after the TV career kind of fizzled out, when he, signed to Lil Wayne and so forth, that's when you saw like more of traditionally Black representation from Drake.
You're right.
But if you look at his mom, if you look at his family members, you look where he grew up, he's really a lot more like me than like you.
Right. And he grew up with a different culture. He grew up on a different land, in a different culture. So technically, he is not a foundational Black American, even though his father is. Same way with us. People always point out, well, some of you guys got Nigerian DNA. I'm not Nigerian. None of us are Nigerian. We can't go to Nigeria and be accepted with just free Nigerian citizenship like that, you know?
Well, the part that I don't understand, though, and correct me, is you're telling me that being a foundational Black American isn't a choice, it's a lineage.
Right.
So if Drake's lineage through his father is FBA, doesn't that automatically make him FBA just by bloodline?
No, also blood and land. Blood and land, same
Land.
thing. Yeah, land too. You're not in America, you're in Canada.
So
you know what I'm saying?
You take the same Drake, same mother, he grows up, let's say in Memphis, he would be FBA?
Right. If he was born here, yes. If he was born on this land, experiencing Memphis, because Memphis has a very unique history.
Yes, it
Memphis
does.
ain't no goddamn Canada.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So,
it is not.
Dr. King got killed in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a different energy, different lineage, different vibe. Memphis got popping because of a Black man. Robert Church Reed is a Black man who really made Memphis, probably was a former slave, became the first millionaire in America by buying real estate and property down there in the Memphis area, because a lot of the Black people were run out of Memphis because they were laying up with white women. So they ran the Black people out. He saw an opportunity, built a lot of properties. He had a red light district down there, and that's what got Memphis popping. So Memphis has a very unique foundational Black American history. So you have to experience the whole thing. You got to experience what's going on the land and the lineage. So that's the thing that makes you who you are. Again, that's why the song Not Like Us was going in on Drake as far as his lineage. Like, yeah, you acting like a colonizer. That's what the whole song was about.
Yeah.
I know they give you that too, don't they, Vlad?
I've been called a colonizer. I've been called a culture vulture. I've been called a cracker, a honky, all types of Jewish, negative terms and so forth. It's fine, man. All I know is when I walk around, I get a lot of love out here. I was just in Atlanta and it was like overboard. I couldn't walk a couple feet without someone asking for a photo, telling me how much they love Vlad TV. So
there it is.
And by the way, Kendrick dropped a great song, and he was pointing out how Drake would go to Atlanta to try to like steal some of that energy from that place, and he kind of like took it back to like old times when other people would do that and so forth. Yeah, that was brilliant. It was it was surgical the way he put that together.
Man, it was amazing. That's the greatest diss song ever.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument for that.
I mean, the shit won a Grammy. There's no other diss record won a Grammy and was performed on the Super Bowl.
No, I get it. Although Hit 'Em Up was special. As you and I, who are old enough to remember that.
Hit 'Em Up, no Vaseline. We know. Hit 'Em Up, no Vaseline.
Yeah, those are all jaw droppers. Remember the first time you heard that song was like.
Yeah, Hit 'Em Up. I mean, that got people killed. You know, that's how.
And that's why I could say that's the most impactful song.
Okay.
'Cause, yeah, people literally died over that song,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, you commented on this, the Diddy verdict.
Yeah.
And I've commented on it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I actually, did you see me on Pierce Morgan
No,
arguing with Tony Busby?
Oh, God. I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I got into a whole yelling match with the lawyer, Tony Busby, who has 100 people he's representing that he all claimed were drugged and raped by Diddy, including that girl who claimed that Diddy and Jay-Z raped her when she was 13,
And that was a
which was
complete
absolute
lie.
nonsense.
Right,
So we
right.
got into a whole yelling match on live TV over that because I just felt he's ridiculous. Like none of his clients were used in the court case.
Right.
The one client, the girl, that whole thing was thrown out, and I think he was sanctioned by the courts on top of it. But I've always been very, very firm about how I felt about this whole situation. How do you feel about the Diddy verdict?
I'm glad that they didn't put that RICO. I'm glad he didn't get the RICO conviction. He should have been out of jail because what they got him on is that
Tricking.
Yeah, tricking with male escorts.
With male escorts.
Right. So why leave him in jail for that long because of that? But we got to understand something. He got charged with the Mann Act. That Mann Act is a racist law within itself. It was created for black men. It was created around 1910 to go after Jack Johnson. That's why that law was created. Jack Johnson, he was a heavyweight champion, beating up all of these white men, and he was laying up with all of these white women, going around the country with these white girlfriends. They created that for him, to go after him, saying that you're taking women across state lines for immoral purposes. That's what they got Jack Johnson on. They would get a lot of black men on that. I think they got Chuck Berry on the Mann Act. They got R. Kelly on the Mann Act.
Really?
Yeah, that's what.
It's also known as the White Slave Trafficking Act.
Right, exactly.
White slave trafficking.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that. It's a very racialized law. Also, at the time, you had a lot of immigrants coming over here, white women coming from Poland and different European nations, and they were going to places like Chicago, and they would get these black pimps. And a lot of black pimps were making money with these white women. So they were like, okay, you're making them into white slaves. So that became a whole thing. But yeah, that law was directly created to target black people.
Well, but he beat that. That's the sex trafficking part, right?
Right.
He beat that.
Right, because the thing is, they were trying to, that law was supposed to be for, okay, you're sex trafficking for profit. Your business is making money.
He had no profit off
It was no profit.
anybody.
It was no profit.
He was spending money.
Right.
He was a trick.
Right. So it was ridiculous to say that Bad Boy was making money off prostitution. That's ridiculous.
No.
But then they were trying to do that so they can take all the money from Bad Boy. If they would have got that conviction, they would have drained the bank accounts of Bad Boy. They would have seized the bank accounts, and that was a big old money grab. And luckily it failed.
How do you feel about Cassie in terms of her role in all this? Because I've always said that she's the villain in all this.
Yeah.
I've said that. People like to get on me, whatever. I'm going to keep saying it.
Right. Yeah, I think she's an opportunist, and I think, again, they understand the racial aspect. They know that they can do these things with black men and then turn around and play the white woman card and say, well, he coerced me. He made me do it. So she got with a white man who was Diddy's trainer, from what I understand, right? Yeah, something like that. And now all of a sudden, I was forced to get pound-towned on by all of these different people. When you look at the text, she was damn near, looked like she was begging for it. Like, when is the next freak off? And when is...
Yeah. I'm always ready for a freak off.
Right.
Look, I interviewed 5 male escorts. 5. And I've talked to a couple other ones that I didn't interview. They all said the same thing. She picked them. She was totally comfortable in all these situations. She would ask for things like peeing in her mouth. That was her idea.
I heard.
The guy, Daniel Phillips, said he's never done it before. He was doing it wrong, according to her. He was spraying her too hard with the urine. It's supposed to just dribble out, according to her, right? She would run into these guys in public, and then next thing you know, she would go with Diddy and call them up and so forth. This doesn't sound like being forced.
Right.
In her civil lawsuit, it said, the last time I saw Diddy, he raped me. Now, a civil case and getting on the stand are two very different things, because now you're under threat of perjury.
Right.
So in the civil suit, the last time you saw me, he raped me. But then on the stand, it was like, Well, yeah, we did meet up one other time and had consensual sex. Does that sound like rape to you?
Right.
It could be, but now it changes the narrative very severely. Because why would you go meet up with someone and have consensual sex if they just raped you?
Right.
The story changes. She walked away with $20 million from him, $10 million from the Intercontinental.
Hotel, right.
She's totally humiliated him. No Diddy has become the new no homo. Hundreds of millions of dollars lost. He's been sitting in a jail cell this whole time. She has multi-generational wealth.
Yeah.
And what does she do after he's found guilty of the prostitution charge?
Write a letter.
And says, don't let him out. I'm scared. And I've said this. I remember me and DeRay Davis were like laughing about this the other day. When I interviewed with academics, he said this was the funniest shit he ever heard. I said, at this very moment, Diddy is more scared of Cassie than Suge Knight.
Damn.
He is terrified of this woman. Terrified. He does not want to be anywhere near her. If he run into her, like in a Chipotle, he would run. She has no fear of Sean Combs at this point.
At all.
What does she do? She writes a letter saying, no, keep him in jail longer.
Wow.
Keep him in jail longer. Like, I don't think she'll be happy until he's dead.
Right.
Honestly. And even then, she'll probably be unhappy. But why do you think that is? Why do you think she's just so angry at him?
Sounds like Diddy probably moved on. He was messing with other women. Allegedly, he was with Young Miami, Carisha, and a lot.
No, allegedly about it.
Okay, I'm just saying allegedly. Just
They were hooked up together, you know.
And you know what a lot of people said? They said, you know what? She's probably mad at Diddy because he went and got him a full black woman. Some people said that might be something too. A lot of these exotic women, they don't like the fact that they get swapped for a black woman. You're not supposed.
But he also got with Daphne Joy, who is not even black at all. She's
right. She's
Asian.
Filipino.
Yeah,
I think she's Filipino. That's Diddy. Yeah. But yeah, Diddy mixed it around. But he was very, he was out there, very public with Carisha, this black woman. And a lot of these exotic women, they feel slighted when they see that. They don't want to see a black woman get one up on them. They look at it like that. That's like a cultural violation to a lot of these exotic women. So a lot of people say that might have been some of the motivation that Diddy got so publicly involved with his sister like that.
Yeah, but he had been with Kim Porter forever. And in fact, like people like to say that, oh, he killed Kim Porter. He had nothing to do with Kim Porter's death. In fact, one of the escorts even told me how they had all taken some mushrooms together. Right? And so Diddy was just like high out of his mind. And he said he started to cry talking about Kim Porter.
Oh, damn.
And her death and everything else like that. He was just in tears talking about how much he loved her and how much he was hurt. Because they have kids together. And I think, honestly, like, when it comes to Cassie, what Diddy should have done, she's given her a baby. If he had gotten her pregnant and now she's part of the whole extended Combs family and getting money from Combs and so forth, I think she would have been okay with it. And remember, he had the baby with the Asian girl.
Yeah. But the thing is, you don't want your baby mama to be the peed on mommy. You don't want you don't want to breastfeed with pee smell on her. You know what I'm saying? That's your freak.
Yeah.
So you gotta you got your baby mama and your freak off lady right here. So you don't want to mix the two. So so that's why Diddy didn't do that. And that's probably why she's upset.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, like I've met Cassie before.
Yeah.
I run into her, while they were, dating. She'd have like the brand new Rolex Presidential, yellow gold on. A new Rolex from like a used Rolex. Like this looked like fresh out the shop, all designer clothes and so forth. She was flying private. Never had a job in her life, right?
Yeah, because Diddy
never
got
had a
her
job
with
in her life. You go, from all that to moving back home with your parents, with your new husband. You're living with your parents, and he's a personal trainer. You're still not working. She could have gotten a job. Seriously. She's still Cassie. She still has a name. She could have gotten like a job, maybe like, as a personal assistant for, a CEO somewhere or something. She could have brought in a good amount of money.
But she's kind of a choosy Susie. Didn't she meet him? She was with Ryan Leslie first. Was she with? Yeah,
she was with Ryan Leslie first. He wrote her biggest song,
right,
Me and You.
Right. So
Diddy took her.
Right. So she's a choosy Susie. So she ain't really loyal. She was never loyal from the beginning.
Oh man, look, I've been saying this. When the dust settles, I personally think her husband is going to divorce her and take half. And I know there's no prenup. Because they didn't have nothing when they got together.
Right.
I bet you there's no prenup. It's about to be a city boy summer.
Yes, indeed.
You know?
And he's a white man, so white men always get they got the upper hand in court. Look at Holly Berry's dudes. Holly Berry is paying like alimony and child support to a couple of white men, ain't she?
Well, one white guy.
One white guy.
Yeah, her kid's father. But what's wrong with that? She was making way more money. I mean, same thing with Britney Spears.
Aisha Tyler, remember her, the comedian actress? I think
so, yeah.
She was paying some kind of money to some.
Why is this such a shock? Men pay insane amounts of child support, but when a woman has to pay a man, suddenly it's like, oh my God, this is so wrong.
You don't have Heidi Klum paying Seal. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the white women paying nobody no child. They don't let that happen. They ain't gonna let no white woman pay no brother no damn child support or no alimony. They don't let that happen.
It happens when
Show me a case where it happens,
when there's a huge, well, I don't know about the black part, but for example, Britney Spears was paying an insane amount of money to Kevin Federline.
He's white. I'm talking about.
So you're saying Kevin Federline was black? He would get no child support? That's ridiculous.
Nothing.
Come on, man. That's
hell no. They don't let that happen. They cut that shit off.
I don't know about the day, but if you go to family court.
Let me tell you something. You know, look, in court, if somebody gives you a gift, they can't turn around and sue and say, give me my gift back. The court will say, hey, that's a gift.
Correct.
Y'all remember when Sterling, the guy who owned the Clippers? Donald Sterling was messing with the black girl, and she kind of put him on out there like that. They went to court. I think the wife took her to court and made her give all that shit back.
Right, but that was a special case. That was number one. Was she even black?
She was black. They're like, oh,
they had no kids together.
She was like, oh, this is a gift. Like, bitch, give it back. You don't gift it back to that white man. We ain't giving you shit. So they don't play like that. It's a different vibe when black folks get up in there. We're supposed to get something. Well, they changed the whole thing.
I'm not co-signing this. I'll let you have your opinion.
It's there, Vlad. It's there.
But when it comes to the courts, when it comes to judges, you generally have fair judges. You generally have judges, and I think that ultimately, when you have two parties and one is making way more money than the other, the party that makes way more money, like the In-N-Out heir, she pays an insane amount of money to her ex-husband.
He's white. I'm telling you, it's always viewed through the lens of race.
You find an example.
You cannot find an example. You will not find an example of some white woman paying some brother some alimony. The courts will not allow it. They will never allow that. They'll put his ass in jail. Oh, you're trying to swindle this white woman. This is coercion. Get your ass in there with Diddy. They're going to put a RICO on his ass if you try to get some money out of a white woman.
Well, speaking of black men who pay white women a lot of money, Shannon Sharpe.
Oh, God.
You've talked about this.
Man, exactly. Look, and Shannon didn't do anything wrong. It was just he had a relationship with a freaky white woman. And again, they can turn around and say the magic word, the Negro raped me. They can just turn around and say that. And it's always a racial thing. Didn't Tony Busby represent her too?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Yeah, you see, so it's like
but at least in that case, they actually had relationships.
Right.
I think with most of his clients, they probably never even met Diddy or just met him in passing.
Yeah, and some of the text messages, man, she was like, ooh, give me some of that. I want a big black baby up in me. It was
black baby part. Yeah,
it was some real weird race play stuff going on there.
But I think it was probably going both ways.
Yeah. You think he was doing some, that hunky coochie is so good. You think he was doing that?
I think so, yes. Actually, I think so. Because if you're tolerating that kind of talk from her, it's probably going back and forth.
But he was probably acting like a slave or some shit.
Oh, my God.
Ooh, that cootie cat. Ooh, that cootie cat is so good. He was probably on that. You know, people got these fetishes. And I know a lot of people would like telling Shannon, oh, we told you so. We should have got a black woman and all that. But I think that's unfair. You don't know if somebody's going to flip on you. I mean, you had a consensual relationship.
Yeah.
You don't know if somebody's going to flip on you. But when you are a black person in a relationship with a white person, you have to understand the white person, they are in a power position over you. That's a reality. Systematically, they have a system that will take their side over you.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Me and Shannon last I checked, are not on good terms.
I like Shannon. I love that brother. He seems like a solid brother.
No. What I was going to say is,
Yeah.
although we were not on good terms when all this happened.
Now, why were you not on good terms?
When someone tells me, like, I met him early in his career, and we talked about doing an interview, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. And we kept in contact, and every time it was, time to actually lock something in, I would keep getting the runaround over and over again. Then, oh yeah, talk to this department about it or whatever. And I was just like, I just don't like that. When it comes to dealing with people, I could take a no.
Okay.
But I don't like the stringing along.
Okay.
That to me is sort of a sign of disrespect. It's like, just tell me, just be a man about it. Because I tell people no. They may not like it, but at least they'll respect it.
Right.
So I felt the whole back and forth and so forth over that left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But at the end of the day, he doesn't owe me anything.
Right.
But when I heard about this, I generally felt bad for him. Because from what I understand, he had to pay $23 million.
That's insane.
And then after that, he got fired from ESPN anyways.
He got fired, and then her ass retired from OnlyFans. He made a post.
That post looked like Tom Brady. After all these Super Bowl seasons, I'm stepping away.
Man, I'm retiring my OnlyFans. I done found the Lord.
There's all these like passages.
Man.
And she got her body done. She's recovering from surgery. So now she got ass and titties.
So a lot of these people know that a lot of these brothers are quick licks. They know that they can come up off of them. So cats just got to be careful out here.
Yeah, look, people like to point out that she was 19 and he was 54. She's not illegal.
Right, she's an adult, so.
Not an adult. She is an adult.
She's an adult.
She is an adult, but you are taking a risk dealing with someone who's still a teenager. Mentally, they're not all there. They're still developing as an adult. It's going to be viewed a certain type of way. At the end of the day, as a man, especially a successful man, you have to go into these situations going, if this came out in the public, whatever, I'll deal with it. See what I'm saying? It's like, baby mama drama. It's like, okay, my fans were mostly male, understand they have situations with their kids' mothers. So if this came out and she was bashing me, whatever, that's life. Happens all the time. But when you're in your 50s dealing with a 19-year-old, especially who's an OnlyFans model, who is basically selling pussy. Let's just call it what it is. She's selling pussy, right? You know that if this comes out, it's going to damage what you're doing overall, especially when you're working for Disney, who is the parent company of ESPN. So I think it was a learning situation for him. Just like, for example, when you look at the Diddy thing, like he was ultimately convicted for interstate prostitution.
Right.
Now, girls are getting flued out constantly. But after that happened, I think a lot of men were like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of the blowback happens when it's a black male. Remember that actor back in the early 2000s? What was his name? The British actor got caught on Sunset with Divine Brown. Remember, what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, yeah. Hugh Grant.
I actually know Divine Brown's pimp.
I know Gangster Brown.
You know Gangster Brown. Okay, small world.
Gangster. Yeah. I know Gangster. I used to talk to Gangster about that all the time.
He's still around, right?
He's up in the Bay. He's still
okay,
around.
good.
He's Gangster. He's from here though. He's from LA.
Okay.
But he's got his got popping up in the Bay. But Hugh Grant, that didn't damage his career. They looked at it like a little cute mistake. He was still doing interviews, and he was like, I've been a naughty boy. It was that type of thing. With Shannon Sharpe, he's getting fired. He got to pay all this money. So, yeah, it's a whole takedown. So it's a double standard.
Yeah, but Hugh didn't actually have a job. He was a contractor that got booked for gigs, movies, possibly TV shows, and so forth. Had he been under Disney, I think you might have seen a different situation happen.
You think it was the Disney factor?
I think it was a Disney factor. Because look, I mean, Shannon Sharpe still has a podcast.
Right.
Still doing great. Still gets big guests and so forth. It's the ESPN thing that really affected him.
But the thing is, he's an athlete. When Disney owns ESPN, but like it's not like Shannon is doing the next Moana movie. He's not a character in a Disney movie. He's not doing anything for children.
He's representing ESPN.
Right, ESPN,
every
and
week.
And the corporation of Disney happened to own it. So that argument can kind of be, it's not. He's not doing anything for the Disney Channel. He's not on.
I mean, look, I personally don't think he should have been fired.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. Like, regardless of what me and him, because nothing really bad happened between me and him. Right? It was just like I was just annoyed at the way he conducted his business. But
Right.
I generally felt bad for what happened to Shannon. I felt that he coughed up. If he really did pay $23 million, only to get fired afterwards, he might as well just taken it to court and let all that shit come out, and he probably would have won.
Right.
And the lawyer's fees would have been way less than $23 million. But I think with him, he was probably thinking, because remember, when it first happened, he announced, oh, I'll be taking a break from ESPN, but I'll see you guys back in football season. That never happened.
Right. And you got to understand, man, there's a lot of these lawyers who know how to use racial undertones to exploit people. Tony Busby, a lot of people say Gloria Allred does the same thing.
Yeah.
She goes after everybody black, Michael Jackson, Shaq, everybody. So they know what they're doing. They understand how to use racial code words. They understand the optics of a white woman saying that she was sexually abused by a black man and the culture of that and the history of that.
Yeah.
They understand how to work the racial angle of that.
Look, I've been saying this all year. My favorite film of 2025 is Magazine Dreams, starring Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, I saw some clips. It looked phenomenal. I got to see the whole thing.
Best movie of the year. That's my favorite movie. My number 2 movie is Weapons, that just came out. 2 very unique original films. But I would say Magazine Dreams is a better film. And in fact, when I ran into Jonathan Majors, I met him for the first time at the Hollywood Unlocked Awards. The first thing I said to him was like, Oscar-worthy performance. You should have won an Oscar for this. Everyone I know, you included, has never seen the film.
Right.
See what I'm saying? An Oscar-worthy film, and when you watch it, you'll call me and say, Vlad, you were right. You haven't seen it. Because once all that stuff happened with him, all the publicity and the push and everything else, I mean, not only did he lose his job at Disney once again as Kang the Conqueror from the Marvel Universe, but this phenomenal film that was about to come out had no push behind it.
Right.
And I bet you when the Oscars come around, I don't think he's going to be nominated, definitely not going to win. Not because he doesn't deserve it,
Right.
because he does. Like, he played like a slightly retarded wannabe bodybuilder.
Right.
Gay undertones. It really has, like, it checks off all the marks for a Hollywood Oscar win right there. You see what I'm saying? Like, all of it. And yet, I bet you, I'm going to play this video again during the Oscars, I bet you he won't be nominated because everyone just kind of turned their back on him. Once again, over a situation with a white woman, and you saw him running away from her.
Right.
I saw the video.
Right.
You lose your job from running away from someone?
a white woman. Right. Yeah. So those
Crazy.
The racial politics are very, very real.
Now, what do you think about the whole Tyler Perry situation?
Oh man.
That's a black man and a white man?
Yeah. Oh man. And what's interesting, the Boondocks did that infamous episode.
Oh, no, I interviewed Carl Jones about that.
Yeah.
They had to change the whole thing around because Tyler Perry lost his shit.
Right.
When he heard about that episode.
Right. So, though there's been rumors like that for a minute, and, whatever a person's personal sexual thing is, that's their thing. Now, the guy who accused Tyler Perry of that, is he trying to come up? Does it?
Of course he's trying to come up.
It sounds like a come up.
That's a civil lawsuit.
Right.
When people say it's not about the money, I filed a civil lawsuit to make things right. Every single civil lawsuit is about the money.
Right.
It's always, otherwise you do a criminal lawsuit or a criminal case. You don't get any money when you like convict somebody, but a civil lawsuit is only about the money.
Right. So it sounds like, and the dude was allegedly, he might have just been trying to come up all along. And my thing is, if something went on, if you don't want nobody touching on you, a dude ain't gonna touch on you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be in nobody's bed. They rubbing your damn thighs. if you don't want that to happen, that ain't gonna happen. If you're a man,
depends on the dude, man.
No, I mean,
and the size difference between the two happens in prison all the time. I'm just trying, you know. Watch the movie American Me.
Right,
the Italian guy was not with it.
Yeah, no, if you're in prison, you got limited space to escape. But if you're in somebody's mansion and then you talking about you in the bed and they rubbing your thighs and putting their finger in your pussy, you wanted that shit, dude. You wanted that. Just say that. You know, don't try to bust them out afterwards. If it happened allegedly, I don't know. You know?
Look, I've been saying this for years. I think if Tyler just came out of the closet, I mean, this is a man, you know, his claim to fame was dressing up like a woman.
No, he can't do that. He can't come out the closet. Because his core audience is the church audience.
I was going to say that.
Can't do that. So,
but don't you think by 2025, the church is just a little bit more accepting about this kind of thing?
They've always been accepting about it, but it's always about, you know, just don't let that be the main thing you come in the door with when it comes to the church. In the church, look, the choir director is, you know, is a queen. This guy,
right?
People know.
Like there's no gay people in the black church,
right? They know. They already know. They know. But when you come in the door with that, that will rub them the wrong way. And not to say that you should hide or whatever, but it's just, you know, keeping your private life private. You know.
All right, Tariq. Right now, Tyler Perry announced that he's gay. Would you be shocked at all?
No. Just like when, you remember when Tevin Campbell made an announcement? Yeah, like, hey guys, guess what? I'm like, Tevin, stop.
Lil Nas X,
come on.
who I guess was running around in his underwear.
What is he doing? I heard, what is he doing now?
They found, they're saying that he just overdosed or something. He was literally running around the streets in his underwear.
I just heard that before I came. I'm like, I thought they were bullshitting.
No, they're not bullshitting.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, maybe it's a publicity stunt. I don't know. He's trying to get his, you know, his career back up. Yeah. You know, I don't know, but I don't know. But in fact, I really feel that if Lil Nas X didn't come out of the closet, I don't think he would be where he is right now.
He wouldn't. They've been using that. They've been using that to, you know, push different agendas.
His song didn't even imply he was gay at all. He said, you know, how was the lines? Like, my baby left me. Something, ask her. Don't believe me, just ask her. He's not saying a man.
Right.
He's referring to a woman.
Right.
But he's gay the whole time. He came out as gay, and then it's like, oh, great. Now he's doing a bunch of gay type songs and stuff like that, and some of the songs were hits. So what's the big deal? Just come out. Personally, I think his audience will still rock with him. I think he's done so much.
But Lil Nas X doesn't really have a core audience, though. That's the thing.
Right.
He don't have a core. That's why he's never been on a tour by himself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
And all of these theatrics, that's used by the industry to push certain agendas. And he kind of knows that. He knows that he's kind of being used as a tool by the industry to a certain degree.
Yeah, but that's also, I think he wants to do that. I think he's actually expressing himself to a certain degree. I mean, in fact, I remember he did a song with like Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
And he was saying and Jack was saying how like a lot of this, the creative direction was really Lil Nas. You see what I'm saying?
That's when they were in prison. Yeah, that video. It was a bunch of dudes in prison twerking and.
Yeah, there's the whole Satan thing where he's like twerking on Satan and stuff like that.
But and the thing is, what they do with him, they'll put him out there and put these records out. Look, he's a hit record-making rapper, and then he has a children's book, and then and that kind of rub people the wrong way, you know?
Yeah.
Looks like he was booked for battery.
Oh wow.
Oh, he was booked for battery?
Oh damn.
Oh shit, he was booked for battery, police officer.
Van Nuys jail, right?
Oh shit.
Oh dang, right down the street.
He locked up right over here.
Wow.
Yeah,
I got to look into that. That's insane.
Who did he beat up? He beat up a police officer?
Really?
Oh shit.
Lil Nas X beat up a cop?
Beat up a cop. In his underwear.
Wow. Lord. Oh, Lord.
This
wasn't
in my bingo card?
Oh, I bet they got him in PC over there in the Van Nuys jail.
I guess so.
Good Lord. Man.
Well, we both chimed in on this situation. The whole Nicki Minaj meltdown that happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, and I made a tweet that went viral, and all the barbs, of course, attacked me like usual.
All the barbs don't play around, man.
Oh, yeah. I said, Nicki Minaj is the definition of money can't buy you happiness. She is the greatest female rapper of all time. You can't even really debate it anymore. Based on her body of work, the records sold, the tours that she
Okay,
does,
yeah, we're putting the
fans,
career. Okay.
just overall, in
Okay.
terms of an entity.
Got it.
You can't now. Some people
Because I was
may
going to say
like,
about rap, about just
no,
the skill.
someone might
Okay.
like. Listen, people will like Lauryn Hill better than her, but Lauryn
I
Hill
think the
had
best
one
female
album.
rapper is the Brat to me.
Okay, another one like
Right,
the
right.
Brat. I could see. I just met her recently.
Okay.
You know, very nice lady.
You ever interview her?
No, no, not me personally.
Okay.
I think she may have been on my channel, but no, I don't think me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everyone has their style, right? But in terms of overall impact, just like I said, a tour with her versus pretty much any other female rapper, I think she would eclipse everybody.
Yeah.
A rabid fan base, a lot of hit records, a long career, really able to rap, writing her own lyrics, everything else like that. Mega rich, lives in mansions, married, has a baby. Her husband doesn't act a fool. Now, of course, he's a registered sex offender, but it seems like the two of them have a decent relationship. Everything is checked off. And yet she's still having these meltdowns where she's calling SZA ugly. She's saying Jay-Z ruined everything and owes her $200 million. Wants her husband to fight Des Bryant. Des like, yeah, okay. I'll stop him out right in front of you.
So yeah, her breaking down like that. When was her last hit record?
I mean, I don't know. Anaconda, maybe?
Well, yeah. So she's going after a lot of other female artists because whatever goes up has to come down. There has to be a leveling out. So her career is kind of leveling out as far as records. Remember, she put out a diss record against Megan. Remember that Bigfoot record?
Horrible. Or one of the worst diss records ever.
Yeah.
And I generally like her as a rapper, but that right there was trash.
It didn't go nowhere. So yeah, that career is kind of sliding on the down trajectory a little bit.
Okay, but that happens with everyone. I mean, she's in her 40s at this point.
Right. So you got a lot of new competition out here. You got a lot of new
Cardi B.
Just a lot of the younger female rappers coming out here. It was a fairy girl. Just all these young girls coming out now.
That's life.
Yeah.
I got to deal with the streamers. I got to deal with the Kai Cenats and so forth that are coming out after me that get a lot of the limelight and so forth. It's fine. I have money. I have a career. I have a foundation.
You got your lane.
I got your lane.
Your lane
I'm
is
okay.
your lane.
And in fact, I try to embrace those guys. Like, in fact, the one thing about me that no one could ever deny is that I've always looked at the younger, up and coming interviewers and bloggers, and I've always reached out to them, embraced them, had them on my platform, would do their platforms, and they still had relatively small platforms and so forth. Because I always felt like we could all work together.
Right.
Just like, imagine if Nicki was cool with all the rap girls.
Right.
Imagine a tour with Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, and Megan Thee Stallion. Imagine that.
Right. And that's how Drake and Snoop remain relevant.
Exactly.
They know how to embrace the new people.
The guys do this.
Yeah.
The girls never do this.
Right. That's the
None
problem.
of the girls.
It's too catty.
Yes.
Because Kim got in the game. Nicki got in the game being catty. She could have gotten down with Lil' Kim. They should have done something. But it became a whole catty thing. And now that career is going on the down trajectory, she's kind of lashing out. Yeah. So
I think it's silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole SZA thing kind of bothered me. I don't even know SZA at all. I never even met her.
Yeah.
But calling her ugly.
Yeah.
She's doing a huge tour with Kendrick Lamar. Minding her own business. I heard it was over like SZA didn't do a feature for her or something.
Oh, wow.
So what? So what?
Well, yeah, I don't know if Nicki thinks that these younger artists are supposed to bow down to her and defer to her or something like that. It's a real strange vibe. But yeah, the cattiness, that's a problem with a lot of these female artists. They got to start embracing each other and embrace the younger ones like the brothers do.
Yeah, but it just never seems to happen.
Right.
It never really seems to happen. It's always just something stupid.
I think it's like that with a lot of female artists in general. A lot of female artists, they rarely embrace the younger ones because they look at them as competition to a certain degree. Now, sometimes they might. I remember when Madonna, did she kiss Britney Spears or some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good example of embracing the next generation.
Right.
Britney was with it.
Yeah.
It became a big moment.
Blew it up. Right.
Everybody won. In general, this is just life. When you work with your peers as opposed to compete against them, usually everyone wins.
Yeah.
When you beef with your peers, Yeah, you guys will have little moments here and there, and the fans will be like, oh, yeah, look at so-and-so. Oh, you know, he's on your neck or whatever else. That fades after a day or two. Seriously.
Yeah.
Me and you beefing, did it get us anywhere?
No.
No. You know? You and me working together. I feel like we all win.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
We all get our message out there. And it also shows growth to the viewers. We could have been mad at each other forever, but what happened during our first conversation? We worked it out.
Oh, yeah.
It took all of like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
We weren't on some bullshit. But I feel like women will hate each other forever. Seriously, they'll just hate each other forever. They'll have a vacation, and then they're enemies after that vacation. But a man, listen, you and I can get into a fist fight and be friends after.
Oh, yeah. Growing up.
Regardless of who wins.
Right.
We can be friends afterwards.
Yeah.
Women, forget about it. This was an interesting situation. You know about the whole Queso trial? This was the one where his father testified against him.
No, I don't know the details. I heard about it, but I don't know the details of it. Yeah.
Well, it's basically, it went like this. Queso's dad was a street guy, in and out of prison. A shooting occurred when his dad, his brother, and his stepbrother, I think, were in the car together. Dad got shot. His brother, I think, got shot in the head but survived, and his stepbrother got killed. Queso took it upon himself to retaliate and kill the guy who did the shooting. He went to his dad, and his dad tried to basically save him. I think he got rid of his clothes, had him switch cars, whatever else. Next thing you know, his father's being charged with accessory after the fact to a murder. And with his dad's long rap sheet, he's now facing
life.
Basically life.
Life.
So he decides to take the stand against his own son. And his son ultimately gets convicted of murder.
Right.
You have a son?
I do have 3.
3 sons. What would you do in that situation?
Man, that's the
Your son goes to you and said, Dad, I just killed someone. I killed your biggest op. We're not even going to say who it is because it'd be funny if I did. But I just killed your biggest op. What do you do?
Well, me, I just wouldn't say anything. I'd lawyer up immediately. I just go get a lawyer.
Go get you a lawyer.
Yeah, I just go get a lawyer.
So you wouldn't try to help him get out of the country or anything?
I just go to, because then I'd be an accessory, and then we got other children. So, that become I got to look at the whole family. So if I'm not there, the whole family goes down because of this one decision. So you just got to make a strategic decision on what to do. So I would just be quiet. We're going to lawyer up and we'll do that. I'm not going to testify on. I wouldn't. That's just not in my spirit to do that.
Well, you can't testify if you don't do anything.
Right. So I just lawyer. That's what the dad should have done. He shouldn't.
But what if in the spur of the moment, you're like, okay, listen, let's just get you out of here. I got a guy, they'll get you to like Cuba or something like that, and you try to do it, and then it all falls apart, and now you're being charged with accessory after the fact.
Right.
What do you do? Do you take the stand? Or do you do the time?
I just get him out. At least get him out the damn country.
But it fails.
I don't know how did they fail to do that? How did they?
Well, Queso's dad tried to burn his clothes and get him a new car and so forth. He tried to do probably what a loving dad would do in a situation like that, not really thinking about the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
But what would you do? Would you take the stand or would you go to prison?
Oh man, that's kind of a hard one to call. Yeah. That's kind of because it would be so many things to lead up to that I would take in a different direction. Yeah. I wouldn't even let it get up to that point.
Me neither.
So it's kind of.
I'll get my son a lawyer.
Right.
And feel like I was somewhat of a failure as a father in the process.
Yeah.
Because that's what people are arguing is that his dad was a criminal, was a career criminal.
Right. So it's so many caveats.
Yeah,
it's just I just wouldn't let it get to that point. Knowing me, knowing my family. I wouldn't have my son get down like that. I just wouldn't let it get to that point anyway.
I interviewed Dr. Umar Johnson in 2016.
Wow. Almost
9 years later.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of very creative stories about the school. At first, it was built, but not open yet. And then some kids broke in, I guess, stole some books or messed something up. And then his bank accounts were frozen. And then I guess now the school is being auctioned off. by Delaware. And latest I checked, he's doing $500 lunch dates. You heard about this?
I heard about it. I talked about that.
Listen, look, like this whole time, me and Umar have had some words back and forth with each other. I mean, over the internet. I'm glad he came in and did an interview once. He didn't want to come back. That's cool. I'm not tripping. I think the idea of what he's doing is great. And I've always said, when that school opens, I'll gladly do an interview with him at that school, and I will publicly apologize, for questioning whether the school's going to open. But I don't get the impression the school's ever going to open.
Listen, when he was talking about that school about a decade ago, I was for it. I donated to it. And a lot of people, every time Umar does something, they would tie me in.
Really?
Oh, they would always tie me in.
I've never heard about this.
They would always tie anything he did. Hey, Tariq, what's up with Umar? Because I put Umar on. Umar was in my movie. I put him in the Hidden Colors movie.
Okay.
That's the first time people really saw who Umar was.
Do you guys have a relationship right now?
No, we don't. I put Umar on. I put him in the Hidden Colors movies.
Okay.
So, you get this guy who nobody really knew and put him in a movie, and this movie is being broadcast in movie theaters around the world. So, and he's a brilliant brother.
Yeah, I think he's very
fantastic
smart.
Speaker.
Yeah.
So, he wanted to use that notoriety to get money for the school. I'm like, hey, I'm all for that. But then when people start seeing all of the excuses, people start getting skeptical, and people start always coming to me, man, what's up with Umar? You and Umar in y'all school. Hey, I don't have, hey, no, y'all school. No, it's not y'all school. No, but you had them in your movies. They just tie me in, and I can't. I said, look, to be honest, I don't think the school is happening. I said this about around 2017, and Umar we fell out because he started kind of attacking me publicly. And, I helped the guy get
the truth?
Yeah, he started attacking me. And then I started getting in on him. So we fell out. And, I told people back in 2017, I said, let me keep it a bean, man. That school ain't never going to get built. That's just, don't ask me about it again. That's my opinion. It ain't going to get built, man. Just if it's going to get built, it would have been built already. It don't take that long. I have something called the Hidden History Museum here in L.A. We raised money, made $1 million in a month. I opened the school a year later. I mean, not the school. I opened the museum a year later. It's open now. People can go down. Yeah. So you can get, if you want to get something open, you can get it open.
Look, Lord Jamar is back on my show again.
Yes, that's my brother.
Yeah, after our public falling out, but we actually were really friends before all this happened. So he reached out to me. We got on a phone call. We started talking again, and then that led into him doing interviews. He said something interesting in our recent interview because he had Umar on his show. He did an interview with him, right? And what he told me, which I never heard before, was after the interview was done, he had a private conversation with Umar. He goes, listen, my father-in-law has a school. He started like a similar type of school. He started like a charter school in like East New York. And he has a lot of expertise in this. He knows how to get, public grants, everything else like that. Why don't I hook you guys up to help you build your school? And Umar said, no, I don't need all that. I just need more donations. He said at that point he realized the sincerity isn't quite there.
Yeah.
Because if you're really serious about opening something and you could hook up with someone who's already done it, why not even have a conversation with that person? Because let me tell you, that Cash App link has been there the whole time. I bet you still there. Hold on, let me look. Let me look. So on his official Instagram, there are links to donate money through Venmo and PayPal. He's still taking donations.
Yeah.
Because in fact, he even said for that $500 date, just send money to the FD, was it the
FDMG.
And the FDMG. I'm like, you're already date money through the school.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I talked about this the other day, man. When you're getting into antics like that, we're going to do a donation for a date. They kind of make the movement look very unserious. That makes, that just kind of bastardizes the whole movement. And Umar don't have to do all that stuff, man. He's a brilliant brother, man. Very smart guy. But all of the antics and the theatrics, I think it's some other stuff going on there. I really do. I really think there's some other stuff going on. I don't want to say what it is, but I think there's some real serious stuff going on,
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. And the whole thing of my bank accounts have been frozen. Listen, I've had a bank account for 30-something years of my life. Whenever something weird goes to my bank account, I call the bank and they fix it. Now, if I have to, going down to the bank will absolutely fix it.
Right.
Right? To say that my accounts were frozen and I have no access to them for a long period of time just doesn't happen unless maybe you didn't pay your taxes or maybe someone is suing you and they're basically put a lien on that bank account. But to say that like some nefarious forces are trying to bring me down and suddenly I don't have access to my bank accounts and please send me money to help me out.
Yeah, some people would he sound like he's trying to get in front of the auction of the building. So he gets online and says, hey man, my bank accounts are frozen. Oh man, I don't have no money. Send me some money. Oh, the white man, they're going to get me. Send me some money to this Cash App. And then a few weeks later, he announces, okay, yeah, my building is about to get auctioned off. And it sounds like people were saying that he might have been trying to get in front of that.
Yeah.
So it's just janky. It's just janky all the way around.
Yeah, people start calling him the Pan-African Prince of Panhandling.
Yeah.
Listen, Umar, I know you watch these interviews because I remember I had Ari Spears on my show, right? We were talking about Umar and the whole bunny hopping situation. And Aries, of course, he's a comedian.
I saw that.
He said, "I will have sex with a white woman on top of Dr. Umar Johnson." And Umar posted it on his Instagram and said, "Why do these black entertainers go on this white man's show and embarrass themselves?" I don't think he was embarrassing himself. I think he was cracking jokes on it. I thought it was a funny joke.
He's a comedian.
Honestly, Umar, I know you're going to watch this, right? Because you seem to watch a lot of my stuff. Just come forward and say, listen, I sincerely tried to open it. I tried for years, but this was a bigger undertaking that I was able to do on my own. I didn't want to partner up with anyone that could have potentially, made this happen. And I'm sorry. For everyone that donated, I can't pay you back, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and I will try to do better in the future. I think it'll be a little embarrassing, but I think at least people will appreciate the honesty. There's lots of projects that fell through that never came forward,
Right.
Do you think he'll ever do that, though?
No, never.
No?
No, hell no. Umar's going to keep this thing going. I was abducted by aliens, brothers and sisters. I was abducted by aliens. The aliens, you got to say it 3 times. I was abducted by aliens. I was abducted by aliens, my African brothers and sisters. And they did an anal probe on me. And I got to get a prostate exam, and all the money from the school, my brother has to go into the prostate exam. Oh, okay. Man, come on, brother.
The anal probe wiped me out.
Man, just keep it a buck with people. Just do it. It's not that hard to do. Just if you're gonna do it, just do it. That's it.
The whole thing about bunny hopping and the interracial relationship. This is someone who has interracial kids. Look, I mean, at one point, interracial marriage was illegal. Like literally, it was a Loving versus something.
Yeah, Loving versus the state of Virginia.
Versus the state of Indiana, exactly. Like it was literally illegal at one point to actually marry someone that you love who's a different race, not even a different race, of black and white. That that whole thing is just nasty to me. What do you think about the whole interracial thing?
It's interesting. I don't knock it now. All the women I've dated were black, and my lady is black. She's mixed, but she's black.
Right. Well, I mean, according to Umar Johnson, is that like a no-no? Are you not supposed to date mixed women?
No, I mean, no. You can. I mean, they're black. I mean, because he's talking about Frederick Douglass, and Frederick Douglass was mixed, and Frederick Douglass.
Didn't he say he was related to Frederick
which
Douglass?
isn't true.
And the family said, no, you are not.
Right. And Frederick Douglass had a white wife, too.
Oh, okay.
A lot of folks don't know that. His second wife was a white woman. So, I don't...
Wait. So hold on. That just hit me.
Think about it.
So he claimed, he's naming a school after a man who was bunny hopping.
Yes.
He's...
Bunny Hopper
University.
Frederick Douglass had a white wife. A lot of folks don't know that.
Wait.
That's why, if you say...
Hold on. He's naming a school after a bunny hopper. Come on, man. Come on now, dog. Come on.
A lot of folks don't know Frederick Douglass had a white wife. So yeah,
That is crazy.
You talk about bunny hopping, and your school is named after a dude who had a white
They
wife.
have any kids?
I don't think they had kids. I don't think they did.
Let's look this up.
I don't. Yeah, but yeah, look at the second wife. It was a white woman.
Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, there's pictures of him and the white woman too.
Kids with his white wife. No,
They didn't have kids. Okay. But
so they had 5. He had 5 kids with his black wife, and no kids
with the white woman, with the bunny. So
with the bunny. I don't really know what to make of that either, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but my thing is, when it comes to interracial dating and relationships, just don't make it into a fetish or a political movement, because what happens is you have some brothers who will date white women, and that becomes, well, the black women ain't shit. It becomes that. And that's you basically fetishizing white people or white women. And the same thing, black women, if you're dating nothing but white guys because black men ain't shit, that's something different. You're politicizing your relationships. That's something different. If you genuinely like somebody, you genuinely like them. I can respect that.
Yeah.
But when you turn it into some kind of weird movement where, I'm only going to date this group of racial people, that's something different. And going back to the Loving versus the state of Virginia, what's interesting, what made that case stand out, the Virginia Loving, and that was Loving, the woman.
Yeah.
She was actually Native American, but she got reclassified as black in Virginia. A lot of folks don't know that.
So she doesn't have African roots?
She's not an African American. She has a Negroid phenotype because she was reclassified as a Negro.
Huh.
A lot of Native Americans in Virginia, there was a white man named Walter Plecker. He was in control of the vital statistics there, and he was a eugenicist. And all of the Native Americans who kind of look black, he just reclassified them as Negro. He just got their birth certificates and changed them from Lumbee to Negro, Choctaw to colored. So it was a big thing in Virginia where they would do that, reclassify the Native Americans, take away their indigenous status, and just make them Negro. It was a real big thing. So the case was partly about that too.
Most of my serious relationships were with black women, but I've also had relationships with an Indonesian girl.
You ever dated a white woman?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, absolutely. White girls. I mean, I've messed around with Asian girls. I've messed around with Middle Eastern girls. It's whoever you like, man. You don't know. And the thing is like, men and women kind of do this, I feel. Like, you'll find something in a woman that you like, and you think that only that type of physical thing works for you. Whereas the reality is that there's someone out there that's totally opposite from what you think you like that could really be a great partner for you. Right? You might like thick women, like I've always had a thing for thick women, but I've also messed around with some skinny women that were like great. See what I'm saying? You might be into, I don't know, some people are really into Asian girls, right? They're into flat butts, But there's a girl with a big booty that'll be like, blow you away. Like, you might be into a certain type of class of woman. Like, maybe you're just into, high class or middle class woman. But there might be a girl that comes from a lower class background that really might just completely, complete you.
Well, it's a culture thing. I'm big on culture. That's why I like foundational black American women. My woman comes from a foundational black American culture. So, the food, I'm used to the food,
but there's always restaurants out there.
Right.
You can always eat out.
I don't know if I date a white woman, am I going to have to eat rhubarb pie? What am I going to eat? You know what I'm saying? Even if I date a foreign black woman, am I going to eat egusi soup? I don't know none of that stuff.
Or you can just eat out.
No,
or you can just get a personal chef.
No, maybe I won't.
I'll be honest, well, see, I'm just a foodie.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I just eat out all the time. So every woman I've ever been in never really cooked for me.
See, that's the thing. See, in
I don't care.
See, in foundational black American culture, cooking is a real big thing. Cooking is a bonding thing with us.
But I've been with women who are foundational black American women.
Did they cook for you?
Not so
They
much.
never cooked for you?
Not that they wouldn't cook for me, but I've always just preferred to eat out.
Yeah.
So I never really just allowed them to do that.
Mm.
That's just me, though. I'm different in that regard.
Okay.
Right? That's just me. Not
They
to
never
say-
made you no soul food, Vlad?
I have,
Okay.
you know, but there's always been soul food restaurants that make better food.
Mm. Okay, yeah, you must. Okay, did you really date an FBA woman?
Yes.
Because
Yes. Yes.
you know they can make good food at home. You know, some of the best soul food is at somebody's house. You know.
Yeah. But, you know, as someone who just likes to eat out,
Mm-hmm.
I would just eat out.
Mm.
That's just me, though. So you personally, would you ever get into a serious relationship with a non-FBA woman?
Probably, I'm with my wife forever. I don't know. If I wasn't with her, I'll just put it. If I was,
Let's just say, heaven forbid,
right? Heaven forbid,
she's gone.
For
whatever reason, she's gone.
Right.
And now you are back on the market again.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm.
And you got, you know, people are sliding into your DMs because they know you're single now.
Yeah.
And the woman, and, you know, a spectacular Jamaican woman that has everything. She's got a PhD. She has her own business. She comes from a good background, stable, loving, takes care of you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it?
It would depend on the chemistry. You know what I'm saying? The
Chemistry's great.
All right. Now, if the chemistry's good, now there might be something there. It has to be. It's all about chemistry.
But you would have to go in front of your audience and say,
yes, hey, listen, I
know I've been saying this, but
I got a non-FBA sister.
I got a non-FBA.
And I'm rocking with this non-FBA sister.
This is
my
some
global unity, right?
Yes, global.
So yeah, I wouldn't not date her. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on the chemistry.
Yeah.
But I just prefer foundational Black American women because I have more in common.
Yeah, listen, everyone prefers something. Like with me, I didn't grow up in a Black area. I grew up in San Mateo, California. And for people that know, it's mostly white and Asian.
Yes.
So when I was going to high school, there's Filipinos around, there's Chinese around, there's Japanese around, lots of white people around. And my school had just a few Black people, right? I mean, one of my close friends, Mike Kondrashev, he was Black and Russian, you know, but he was one of maybe, 10 kids in the school that were Black. I didn't really date much in high school either. Didn't go to any proms, didn't have any real serious girlfriends, whatever else. I never really looked at Black women like that. But then when I got to college, I went to UC Berkeley, and that was way more mixed.
Yes, it was.
Right? And it just so happens that the first girl that I really got into a serious relationship with was Black and Japanese. Dad was Black, mom was Japanese, they were in the military. You know, she grew up overseas, where all of her friends were, you know, mixed. We were together for 5-6 years.
Oh, wow.
It was my first real serious sexual relationship, the first woman I ever lived with, everything else like that. So that kind of set a tone for me in terms of the rest of my life, right? Because all these feelings that I got to experience for the first time was with a Black woman. You know, you could tell she's mixed, but she looks mostly Black, right? So then after that, I kind of went after women that were kind of familiar to me in that regard. And these women would also react, you know, when I would approach them and everything else like that. Now, over time, I have got into other relationships with other types of women as well, but when you look at most of my dating, romantic history, it was probably 90% Black women.
Now, did you ever get with women from Nigeria, women from different African nations?
I mean, I messed around with some when I was touring overseas and stuff like that when I was a DJ, but I can't say that I ever got into when I look at well, I mean, she was overseas, I guess, the first girl, but then not really. I mean, no. No. Not because they didn't want to, it just didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Just didn't happen.
They never tried to finesse you out of a green card or something, lad? Hey.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm just being honest. Yeah, no. No, the only girl who was a foreigner that I got into some sort of relationship with, we were together maybe 6-9 months. She was Indonesian, but her family was mega wealthy.
Oh, wow.
So she didn't care about a green card for me. They just buy her, you know, citizenship if they, if they wanted to. But yeah, no. But I think when it comes to dating, the first person that you're with seriously sets a tone for the rest of your life. Like, for example, most of the gay men that I've interviewed, their first sexual situation was with another man. Usually rape, sometimes experimentation, usually an older man, usually this, usually that. Now, it's not every time, but most times. So when people like to say, oh, well, I was gay anyways, it's like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You know, like, you look at situations like some of the prison guys I interviewed, you know, what they tell me, which was really interesting, is that there's a lot of men in prison that have never been with a woman.
Oh, damn.
They get locked up as teenagers.
Right.
They start having sex with guys. They get out, then they go right back in, but they're just with guys all the time. You know, one of the craziest stories I heard was this guy, Lil Diesel, who was locked up in Angola. There was a guy in their prison whose punk was his son.
Oh, damn. Damn.
He was having sex with his son.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
This blew my... Tell him about the dad and the son.
Yeah, a guy, he got his son is his sister.
It's a guy doing life in prison.
Wait.
Vlad needs to believe it as a first telling this stuff.
Wait. Don't tell me I heard what I just heard.
Yeah.
There is a man in prison,
Yes.
and his son
It's for him.
is his punk.
Yes.
So he has sex with his own son.
You see, before you let anybody else do it, he might as well have him.
He said, before anyone else can have him, I'm going.
Oh yeah, he gonna be for me. Yes, that's true.
It gets that twisted up in there.
It's
And you know
sick
something?
stuff.
In there, it's not as crazy as it is when we're talking about it. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, certain things become normalized.
I remember you saying they wanted you to interview Fleece Johnson and you wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, Fleece is a serious criminal. People kind of joke about he did some real, they took his teeth out because he was biting people in prison. You know that? That's why he has no teeth.
Yeah, I mean, he threatened to rape me.
Yeah.
He's
a rapey rapist. He's very rapey.
That was the whole thing, because it was like, look, like, I was a character on the Boondocks.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So when Fleece got out, I was like, yo, you got to interview him. It's a whole Boondocks connection, because there was the whole Booty Warrior episode and everything else like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, because I was thinking a lot of it was just like trolling or whatever else. But leading up to the interview, I'm doing the research and I'm like, oh, this guy's a serious rapist, a serious gay rapist at that.
Yeah.
Like, how many guys went to prison on some little skid bid and ended up getting turned out by this guy?
Right.
Right. He was a predator.
Yeah. He was
So
serious,
I was just like, I'm
man.
not going to do it. Like, I'm not going to do it. I know he gets 20 versus 1s and whatever other weird shit he does. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know,
because people kind of joke about him and have him
nothing
on.
funny about that
Yeah,
shit.
the stuff he did was real serious.
Nothing funny about that shit.
Yeah.
I know Terrence Gangster Williams interviewed him. And I'm like, all right, that's you. That's your choice, right? I just found that just kind of sickening.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to put him on my platform, essentially. That's just me.
There any other people that, because of some of the stuff they did, you wouldn't interview them?
People wanted me to interview South Park Mexican.
Okay.
He's doing like 40 years over, he had impregnated like a 13-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Really?
he met her at the strip club, so I guess, they're saying, well, it wasn't his fault because you meet a girl at a strip club, you have sex with her, you assume she's 18 because
Right.
it's an 18-up thing, but then there was other sexual assaults of children that he was ultimately convicted
okay.
of. So I was just like, yeah, a child molester, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Regardless of the views or whatever else. Yeah. I don't interview people who have active cases. Like Draco the Ruler, when he was fighting his murder case, his manager wanted me to interview him over the phone, and I said no.
Right.
Taxstone, my man, when he was going through his murder trial, he wanted me to do an interview. I said no, because I didn't want to. I would know that those interviews would become part of the case.
Right.
And people don't always realize what they say, and I don't always realize what they say.
How many years did Taxstone give?
35, I think.
Hey, God damn, I didn't know he got them in it. I was the last interview he did. Yeah, the last interview he did, I was out in New York.
Yeah, I hung out with him a couple of days before he got picked up. But we'd been hanging out for a whole year, because a whole year passed between the shooting and him getting picked up.
Yeah.
So we were all thinking, it's all good. I'm not talking to him about it off camera or on camera, but I didn't think he was going to get picked up. I thought it was whatever, a cold case for whatever reason. But yeah, no, there's a bunch of people I wouldn't interview. I turned down a lot of shit. A lot. A lot. What is a foundational white American?
It's a fantasy. There's
It's a
no
fantasy?
Yeah, because that's now a thing. I see a lot of people claiming to be foundational white Americans now.
WFA.
Yeah.
No, FWA. Sorry.
FWA.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came over as immigrants. They came over as immigrants, and also when the Europeans came over here and tried to start colonies, the colonies all failed. Without black people involved, all of the colonies they tried to start failed. They had New Sweden up in Delaware, that failed. They had Roanoke, that failed. San Miguel del Guadalupe, that failed. Just so many of their colonies, St. Augustine, that failed down in Florida. So they didn't get anything popping and anything stable until we were introduced to these colonies, and we are literally the foundation. So yeah, there's no foundational white American.
So the founding fathers are not foundational white Americans?
Well, the thing is, those founding fathers, they had slaves. So
True.
the slaves was doing all the work for them. You talk about George Washington, slaves. Thomas Jefferson, slaves. So yeah, they all had slaves doing the work for them.
Ben Franklin have slaves?
I don't think he did. I don't think he was a plantation owner, but
Not true.
right. But he had white supremacist views. So,
I mean, they all did. I mean,
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
the Declaration of Independence,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the Constitution and so forth. And, yeah. It was all like white males.
Exactly. So we
Racist
were.
and sexist.
Yeah, we've always been the secret sauce. As foundational Black Americans.
Okay, but isn't that sort of just a footnote? Because at the end of the day, based on your definition,
Mm-hmm.
Europeans that came over here and helped build the country, just take slaves out of the conversation. Doesn't that more or less describe what a foundational Black American is in the same type of way for their white counterparts?
You say you take slaves out of it. So if you take slaves out of it, you have no country. You understand? Like I told you, the Europeans, they came over here and they tried to start colonies on their own, and all of them failed. You see, we really have to understand that. When they came over and started Roanoke, that shit failed. It all failed. They did not get anything going on until the Jamestown colony, and they damn near starved and died with Jamestown. They were cannibalizing each other. So when Black people were introduced to that colony, that's when they started to thrive. These are all facts. I always tell people when I'm debating them, show me a colony before 1619 over here in North America that was thriving. None.
Well, speaking of that, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the whites only?
That whites only town, yeah.
In the Ozarks in Arkansas. And I guess it's supposed to be a new one coming out in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a colony or a town where Black people are not allowed, Jewish people are not allowed. So you and I are both banned from setting up shop. Not that we would ever remotely want to live there.
Right.
But I think gays, I think, are not allowed also.
Yeah, so yeah, they're trying to set a precedent. What they're trying to do, they're working it so that they can say, okay, we can skirt the whole Fair Housing Act and the Civil Rights Act by saying this is a private community. And it's a members only thing.
Right.
So they're really trying to work it and word it in a way where they can get away with it so they can set a precedent. I think nobody wants to go there, but just the precedent that they're setting.
Some people probably want to go there.
Yeah.
Some people want to go there. Come on now.
But I'm
That's
talking about
people
Black
out
folks. We don't want to go there anyway.
Oh no, Black people, Jewish people don't want to go there either.
But the precedent that they're trying to set is kind of dangerous, because if they can get away with saying, okay, a private membership community can discriminate, then what's stopping all of these other people from doing the same thing? You see.
Well, you have private communities that discriminate all the time. Look at some of these
golf
private
clubs,
golf courses.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
You have to pass all types of hurdles to get in. Like, I've applied to the Soho House that did get in. Because I'm discriminated against, or because maybe they just don't want me there for my social media exposure or whatever else. I mean, I don't agree with this, but I don't see why they would not be able to do this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, again, they're trying to set a precedent. And if they get away with doing this and they thrive at doing this, that's not going to stop other communities from saying, okay, well, now this whole town is a private town and you got to have a membership to live in this town. And my thing is, this is the problem. If you have a whites only town, if a Black person who's a delivery driver, worked for Amazon, if they get harmed in this town, will the white people get away with it? You know, now are they setting a legal...
I don't think Amazon going to be delivered to this town.
Yeah, right. Because we already
I
have...
don't think any Amazon driver going to drive into that place.
Right, right. So this is where we don't want to go back into the Sundown town thing, because we've already had unofficial towns like this anyway. There were Sundown towns. This great book by James Lowen talks about all over the country. There were places where black people couldn't go after 6 o'clock.
The whole Green Book thing to avoid those towns and everything else like that.
And they're still unofficially alive now. There's a lot of places where black people go to and the white people come out and say, hey, what are you doing here? So it's that type of thing. So what they're trying to do is make it legal again and put it on the books. So, you know, I don't like the precedent that they're trying to set with that.
Yeah, listen, this is a town that I am not invited to.
Yeah.
Because I'm openly Jewish. But honestly, if you want to build this little bullshit town and don't want to let anyone in, go ahead. I personally don't care.
Yeah.
I honestly don't give a shit, to be totally honest. You know, listen, when it comes to living life, having a full life, having a successful business, you can't sit there and just cut out big parts of the population. I have employees, black, white, Spanish, gay, straight, married, unmarried. I don't, you know, Muslim, Jewish, Christian. I don't give a shit. I honestly don't. I honestly do not. So if you want to create a situation like this,
but here's the thing, Vlad, if you have a town like this, are federal dollars going to go to this town? It's still in the United States. Will federal dollars be used in this town?
Point.
Right. Now that's my thing. If my money, my tax dollars, and I pay a lot of taxes, I don't want my tax dollars going to a town where I can't go. I'm going to be in danger if I go there. See, that's where the problem comes in.
Well. Hold on. This actually brings me back to what we already talked about. Dr. Umar Johnson. It's a school for black boys that was supposed to receive some sort of funding, or no, or is this totally private?
I think it was private, just private donations. He didn't get no.
Okay, got it.
Private donations.
So you have a problem with the whites only town, but you actually were supportive of this black male only school.
Right. Well, black owned, yeah.
But let's just say I had kids with a white woman. They could not enroll in Umar's school.
Listen. That school wasn't going to open up. All right. So,
but I'm saying conceptually, you didn't have a problem with that school. But
no.
There
was. I didn't have a problem because it was black owned. It was going to be a black owned school.
But it was this thing. It wasn't open to white kids, Spanish kids, Asian kids.
No, I didn't know all that. I didn't know.
Yeah, I believe that the school. Let's just before I put my foot in my mouth.
Right, because I didn't know if it was going to be excluding all of these other groups.
Yeah,
I know
it was intended to be a residential academy for black boys.
Okay. I don't know how he would have gotten away with doing that, and if it's not a private school, I don't know how he would. But again,
just black boys.
Yeah.
Now look, you have you have boys' schools, right? So for example, where I grew up, matter of fact, in San Mateo, where Tom Brady went to school, was Sarah High School, which is a boys only Catholic high school. No girls were allowed there. But it wasn't broken down by race.
Right. But here's the thing, Vlad. If the school was never going to be done, so you could say anything. You can say it's a school for goddamn leprechauns. You can say anything. It's not going to be open anyway, so you're selling it. Yeah, it's not a practical thing. Look, I have the Hidden History Museum. It's a black-owned institution.
Yeah.
We had a bar mitzvah there.
Okay.
Somebody had a bar mitzvah. Them Jewish people in there grooving.
Yeah.
They're playing Drake. They like Drake. Jewish people like Drake.
Of course they
do. We had some Hispanics in there. They had a birthday party. People rented out, and just different races of people. So I don't discriminate. It's black-owned. Now, what's interesting, some white people wanted to rent it, and they wanted to cover up some of the artifacts, some of the black artifacts.
Oh, really?
I'm like, no, you're not doing that.
That's crazy.
We're not going to do that. But yeah, it's open for everybody. So I don't know how you could practically exclude people based on race. But again, if the shit ain't going to open anyway, you can say anything.
That's what it is. Tariq Nasheed, man. Always a pleasure. We're about to switch positions here. You're going to interview me.
Yes, indeed. Let's
do it.
Well, how do you feel about people tying you into so many different cases?
This has been happening since day one. Since day one, one of my first ever interviews, I think Plies called me the police, asked if I was the police. So this whole stigma has been going on forever. When I first got into it, like, I want to do something different than what has been happening in hip hop media. I always felt hip hop media was always softball, was always just soft in terms of the questions that were asked compared to like real media outlets like 60 Minutes, which was an outlet that I always looked up to. So I always asked the tough questions, but I've always been very careful about the kind of questions that I asked. So when you look at the people who have been arrested after Vlad TV interviews, my interview has never been part of any of these cases, ever.
Now, wasn't it one case where they were reading transcripts from this show?
Which case?
I could have swore it was somebody's case.
See what I'm saying?
Okay.
Isn't that one thing? But no one could actually say what it is. The only time that I've ever heard of my interview being used in someone's case, this is a case that hasn't gone to trial yet, was Keefe D.
Okay. But he confessed.
Keefe D wrote a book.
Right.
My interview was based on his book. And he wanted to talk about it. So, and that was the one time that I broke my own rule, because technically it was an open case. It was unsolved murder of Tupac. But it's like, if you're going to write the book, and I said, are you going to talk about the stuff that's in the book? And he was like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And ultimately, from what I understand, that interview probably will play a role in his situation if he doesn't plead out. But listen, if you write a book about your crime, then I'll go ahead and do an interview with you about the crime. And the book is on Amazon and everything else like that.
Right. Now, you mentioned your style of being in your face with the way you interview.
Yeah.
Were you influenced by Star? Because Star was the first person I saw do that. He's the godfather of that shit.
I mean, in fact, these clips are all gone now because me and Star had this weird falling out some years ago. But I actually reached out to Star after he had been, kicked off the radio and everything else like that. And I brought him in and paid him to do regular interviews on my show. Him and Buck Wild.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. Me and him had a big falling out, and he just wrote me a cease and desist and said that take everything down. So I just took everything down. But those videos were these classic interviews that came out. So yeah, Star was very much in your face, very unapologetic. Didn't care whose feathers he ruffled and so forth. So yeah, absolutely. Star was definitely one of them. So once I had my platform, he was one of the early people that I reached out to. Absolutely, 100%. And me and Star are supposed to do something, unfortunately, he's dealing with some family health issues right now, which is preventing him from doing it. But me and him have been talking about doing an interview now for a while.
Okay. How'd you hook up with brother Michael Jai White? How'd you hook up with him?
Michael Jai White was someone that I just admired as an actor.
Yeah.
Black Dynamite, I thought was brilliant.
Yes, it was.
His role as Mike Tyson, brilliant. So I was just a fan, and it just so happens that he lives like right by here. He lives like 5 minutes from here. And we did an interview, and we just hit it off, just as friends. And we started hanging out. He started inviting me to his fight parties at his house. I got to meet his wife. I got to meet his kids. He's been to my home. He's met my family. And it just became just like an actual friendship over the years. And it's just, honestly, like, Michael's just one of the best people that I've ever met.
Solid, brother.
Just one of the best people. He's been on the phone with me for hours when I was going through some personal issues. Always stood by my side no matter what I was going through. Generally just a good person. And you just don't meet a lot of just good people in this industry.
You don't.
Everyone's always trying to get something out of whatever, and they're trying to position themselves. Michael's never been like that, man. Right. Just a great person, a great family, and just someone I've always admired.
Yes, indeed. Have you had some incidents with artists where it almost got physical?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me think. So at one point, I met Drake, right? This was at the Beats by Dre party right around 2013.
Okay.
And I've always been a Drake fan. I still am. But I had Charlamagne on my show a lot.
Yeah.
And Charlamagne used to dig into Drake all the time, right? He used to have titles like there's gay, there's straight, and there's Drake. It's also kind of funny because I just had Charlamagne on my show, and he told me in the interview that he met a couple bodyguards, these big, huge, monstrous guys that used to be Drake's bodyguards, and they told him that Drake told them that if they ever see Charlamagne, just beat the shit out of him, and he'll pay for everything.
Damn.
That's how serious the two of them went.
Damn.
Right?
Damn.
Just giving you a backdrop.
Yeah.
So I met Drake. He was walking past me, and I'm like, oh, what's up, Drake? Vlad from Vlad TV. He goes, man, stop talking shit about me on the show. But he was kind of laughing about it, and I'm like, okay, he's just laughing. I'm like, what are you talking about? I never said anything about it. So we run into each other. This was in New Orleans, right around 2014, I think. Mm-hmm. It was All-Star Weekend, and a bunch of us are just on stage. It was me, it was Drake, it was Meek Mill, a bunch of the Dream Chasers guys, and so forth. So I meet this dude Chubbs, who's Drake's like right-hand man, and we're talking, and me and Drake even take a couple photos during the course of us running into each other, right? And Drake, he's not being friendly, but he's not being like standoffish, really. So I talked to Chubbs, and I'm like, yo, I want to do some shit with Drake. At one point, I was like, okay, we exchanged numbers. And I guess after I walked away, he talked to Drake about, I just met DJ Vlad. And I guess Drake told him, he'd be talking shit about me. That's what I think happened, because next thing I know, Chubbs gets in my face, and he was like, yo, what's up with that shit you talking about my man Drake? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm on stage. My security is standing kind of like a little bit off stage, sort of below me a little bit, because it's like an elevated stage. So they think I'm by myself. So I said, what are you talking about? I said, I've never talked shit about Drake. I said, I've had some people on my show. Like who? I said, like Charlemagne. Well, that's on you too. And so I look over my security, and I'm like, come on. So security gets in between us. They're like, yeah, call you, man. Call your people up. He's like, what's the problem here? So he gets between us, and then Chubbs kind of backs off. Mm-hmm. But now people are starting to crowd around. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, we got to get up out of here. Yeah. We got to get up out of here. This is about to be a fucked up situation. Wow. So we got up out of there. My security wanted to go back and confront him. I'm like, are you crazy right now? Like, we walked away safely. What, am I going to escalate the situation? So yeah, that happened. I think that's pretty much it. I pretty much, if I go to an event that I know there might be some conflict, because I'm fully aware in terms of what I say and what I say about people and everything else like that, mm-hmm. I'll bring armed security with me. Mm-hmm. I'll bring, in New York, I have, active NYPD security. Mm-hmm. In LA, I have former LAPD and sometimes active LAPD, or I have actual real bodyguards, like real guys who legally carry guns and everything. And I think when people see that type of person with you, they kind of leave you alone.
They slow down.
Yeah.
I know you cool with our brother Willie D. Have you ever interviewed Jay Prince?
No, I wanted to, but
what happened?
We were supposed to do it, and I think maybe someone got in his ear and told him not to do it, and that's that. I'm a huge fan. I mean, I've interviewed Willie multiple times, good friend of mine. Scarface multiple times. I always wanted to interview Bushwick Bill. Never happened. Huge Ghetto Boys fan. Huge Ghetto Boys fan. I've always wanted to do Jay Prince, but for whatever reason, I've interviewed his son.
Okay.
Not Jay Prince Jr., but the other one.
Okay.
I apologize for forgetting his name, but
yeah,
I would love to, but personally?
No, I don't. I know.
I would absolutely love to. Absolutely love to. But I feel like everyone that I know that knows him doesn't really have like a really active relationship with him at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So they can't just call him and be like, hey, listen, do Vlad, I'm vouching for him. I don't have that. Like, Willie obviously knows him, but I don't think the two of them are close anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever interviewed Ice-T?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Long time ago. I was actually, Nori was doing like a movie.
Okay.
Like one of these little hood movies that never really came out. And me and Ice-T were actors.
Oh,
so we were just hanging out a lot. We were like in a barbershop for a long time. Mr. Fab was also supposed to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And I actually have an interview with Ice-T. I think it's actually on the YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Really, really great guy, man.
I love Ice.
Super knowledgeable, yes. Like just super intelligent, down to earth, like no type of...
How old is this interview? Is it...
At least 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you got to bring Ice back.
I would love to, but he's busy.
Yeah.
He's not really going around doing interviews like that. He has a real job. Like, you know what I mean? He's actually still on NCIS.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's an icon. I would love to bring him back, but sometimes things don't work out.
I know you had Ray J on, and it was some strange call with Suge
Knight. Yeah.
What was that about?
I'm not exactly sure, because that wasn't my phone call.
Okay.
That was his phone call. And I don't know if Suge even knew that he was...
He was with you? You didn't know? Okay, he didn't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
They called him during the course of the interview.
Okay.
So I don't know. And I think that created some sort of friction somehow. And the two of them started dissing each other and calling each other gay and some. I don't know. I had one conversation with Suge over the phone. And we were supposed to do something, but ultimately, it didn't happen. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'll be honest.
Now, I know one of the interviews you said you wanted to do but didn't get a chance to do it was OJ.
Yes.
Right. Are there any other interviews like that that you really wanted to get, you were close to getting, but you just didn't get it?
Me and Tekashi 6ix9ine were supposed to do an interview.
Oh, you never interviewed him?
No.
For some reason, I thought you did. What happened?
No. We had worked out the price, but then he wanted to do something different, kind of at the last minute, and it no longer made it economically, feasible. And we tried to work our way around it the best we could, but he was just sort of kind of sticking to a new price, which is a price we didn't agree on.
Right.
And I just was like, business-wise, I can't do it. Let me think. I'm talking about stuff that actually was about to happen, and there was conversations and so forth. Yeah, those are the two that kind of stick out in my head.
Have you ever had any situations here, besides the one with me? Any other situations like that here?
03 Greedo got pissed off at me at one point in the interview. He had asked not to talk about a certain rapper that he had beef with before. And now, keep in mind, this was right before he was turning himself into a long prison bid. I think he was supposed to get like 15 years or something. He ended up getting out early.
Oh.
But just imagine your mentality. You're about to turn yourself in for over a decade. So you're already kind of not in the best of moods.
Right.
So I'm interviewing him, and this never actually came out. I ended up just kind of scrapping that part of the interview. And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but I mentioned a certain rapper that he was beefing with. He's like, I don't want to talk about him. And I was trying to say, well, I just interviewed him and he actually spoke nicely about you. But as I'm trying to get those words out, he's like, motherfucker, I told you I was trying to talk to him. I didn't want to do this shit. Now fuck this shit. I'm a gangster. And I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, it's cool. It's not that serious. And afterwards, we talked about it. We kind of laughed over it. I was like, I was trying to say that he was actually giving you props and, whatever else. Like, yeah, I know. I'm just, things are going on right now. And I asked you not to, and you still did it. And I'm like, yeah, I did that. But I think the more prominent one, the one that actually did come out, was Mike Tyson. Because I interviewed Mike Tyson.
Right. What happened with that?
So it was really a Zab Judah interview with Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Right. Zab was, I hired him to do the interview because him and Mike are actually good friends. So it was a really, really dope interview. Now, keep in mind, this is at Mike Tyson's gym in LA. And we're actually doing the interview inside of the boxing ring.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I'm in the ring with Mike Tyson because after Zab finishes, I asked Mike, who, me and him were kind of like talking, had a good rapport. He was familiar with some of the people I interviewed and so forth. So I'm like, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? Like, yeah, sure. So I'm sitting there, I'm interviewing him, right? And I was like, well, Mike, during the course of this interview, you mentioned a lot of these street guys like Eric Von Zip and so forth. And, like he knew like Haitian Jack. And, I remember there's this other guy that I interviewed that he had mentioned. And I'm like, yeah, here you are, at the height of your career, you're making hundreds of millions. What is your attraction to these street guys? He goes, what do you mean attraction? And I said, shit. Mike Tyson thinks that I'm calling him gay. And I'm like closer than me and you are right now. Like he's actually right a few feet away. And I'm like, well, it just seems like you, you're friends, you hang around with these guys. What, you think I hang around with them? And I'm like, okay, like this is not working. This is not working. I got to talk my way out of this because my security's not going to make it. If Mike lunges at me, it'll be too late. It'll be too late. He's going to get a few in. And I do not want to feel what a Mike Tyson punch feels like. You know what I'm saying? This was a while ago. This was like maybe 8-9 years ago.
Like
so it's just like, he could still beat the shit out of me, but back then he was even bigger, and I think this was right before he was fighting Roy Jones, actually.
Okay.
So I just talked my way out of it. And eventually he got it, and he calmed down. And that was cool.
Wow.
But I think what was funny about that whole situation, not so much funny at the time, but a little bit funny right now, is that when I interviewed Evander Holyfield, and me and him were kind of chopping it up before the interview, And I was telling him about that situation. He goes, yeah, he goes, Mike really likes to do that to people. He likes to kind of scare people. I've seen him do this like for decades.
You know, he kind of did that with T.K. Kirkland. You saw that in it?
Exactly. Yeah, he was like basically like, shut the fuck up. You know, you gonna tell me how I feel. Right. And I know TK.
Right.
I've been rocking with TK for a decade. This is my friend. We talk all the time. I know damn well TK was not trying to insult Mike on any capacity. But Mike took it that way. And I don't know whether he was just fucking with him or whatever, but Mike seemed kind of serious. So yeah, Mike does that to people sometimes because I think he still knows he's Mike Tyson.
Right, because I think Michael J. White told me it was something kind of going on.
Something a little happened between the two of them. But the thing is, though, Mike was not backing down.
Hell no.
I was backing down. Right? I'm not scared to say that I was scared. You know, look, you and I are a similar age. Like, this is like the baddest man on the planet. Right? Like the last thing you want to do, like remember like Will Smith had that, you know, that song, I Think I Can Beat Mike Tyson. You see him at the end of the video and his head is all swollen and everything else like that. That's how I felt in that moment.
Now, have you ever interviewed Haitian Jack?
No, but we've had conversations.
Okay.
We've had conversations.
That would be good. How come that never happened?
He's like in the Dominican Republic because he got extradited.
He shot somebody out here, didn't he? It was something where he shot somebody in
well, he was tied into the Tupac rape case.
I know that, but there was something that
I'm sure he shot
LA.
a few people.
Yeah.
Last I checked.
Yeah, it was something in L.A.
A whole bunch of shit happened. He got kicked out of the country. He ended up setting up shop, I think, in DR. And we talked about it. At first, he had some project. There was this Hulu project he did with like Big U.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think he was kind of holding off for that. And then that was done. And last I checked, he asked for some astronomical amount of money that like made absolutely no sense. I mean, I would love to do it, but you know, sometimes people, you know, they have an expectation of their story that's just unrealistic on like a YouTube platform.
Right.
Now, if it was like a Netflix documentary, if it was a major motion picture, then yeah, you could probably get that type of bag. But when you talk about YouTube, it was kind of like the OJ situation. Right. It was like, you want 100,000, we would potentially have done it, but he was giving me no guarantees that he would actually not run off with the money.
Right.
And
he
if
wanted
you think
some
about
money
it,
up front, right?
he wanted the money before he walked into the building. And it wasn't him, it was like his friend. See what I'm saying? In cash.
Right.
In cash, he wanted the full amount while he was still in the parking lot. And his friend even said that there's a chance that if I ask the wrong questions, he might walk out.
Oh, no.
So it's like,
right.
And I said, look, I'll give you 50 up front, 50 at the end. No. I'll give you 75 up front, 25 at the end. No. And look, at the end of the day, OJ died owing tens of millions of dollars. You know, so when you deal with people that are kind of crooks to begin with, the one thing you don't do is give them a bunch of upfront money or give them the whole amount up front. You know, I gave, not to say that he's a crook, but like, for example, DMX, I paid him like $15,000 because he demanded it up front. The interview got delayed, got pushed back, he started to travel, whatever else, and then he overdosed and died.
Damn. Wow.
So that was the end of that situation, you know, unfortunately, very sad ending, you know, and at the end of the day, he owed dozens of people money. There was no point of even suing. I just had to take that loss.
My old buddy, Ron Newt.
Yeah.
Prince Diamond. How did you hook up with Prince Diamond, man?
Oh, man. I actually met him around the same time that I met your friend, Gangster Brown. Right? Small world, right? So what happened was at the time, this was right when I was launching Vlad TV. I ended up doing an episode of American Gangster on BET.
Okay.
I produced the Mac Dre episode of American Gangster. So that was what I consider one of my best pieces of work. Right? And it did so well that we were preparing for the next season of American Gangster, and this is the story that I brought to them. My man Stretch introduced me to him.
Not the Stretch with the Tupac thing? That Stretch?
No.
Okay.
No. Stretch, he manages a bunch of artists and so forth, right? Bay Area guy. So he brought me, you know, to Ron Newt, and I remember we hung out, and Ron just was telling these incredible stories that didn't sound believable, but then he starts pulling out pictures. He's like, oh, I used to hang out at Michael Jackson's house. I'm like, yeah, right. Here's a picture of me and Michael Jackson. Here's me wearing Michael Jackson's glove. Here's me hanging out with Michael Jackson's monkey. Like, you know, it's like the whole thing is crazy, right?
No, Ron was in the movie The Mac. He was like in the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, Ron, and his son is Jay Valentine, right? And he told me the whole story. So I was like, oh shit. Next season, I'm gonna do the Ron Newt episode of American Gangster, but then American Gangster got canceled.
Oh, okay. That was Irv Gotti's thing, right? Was that Irv?
No.
Okay,
This was before Irv Gotti. This was straight BT. Who was the executive producer? Oh, I forgot. I really kind of mad at myself. A legendary, New York journalist was sort of behind this whole thing. So, that got scrapped. So BT didn't do American Gangster the next season. It got brought back years later as a different kind of situation. So, he was always sort of someone I wanted to interview. Then at one point, I think BT or someone was doing like a documentary on him or like a reality show or something. So you want to do some interviews, and they reached back out to me. So I went out to his house, he got on his throne and everything else like that. And I got to do the whole interview, and then he got to pull out the pictures and kind of do everything that we originally were supposed to do for American Gangster. And then unfortunately he passed a while afterwards. But that's actually how I hooked up with him.
Okay.
He's a very, very interesting guy.
He really is.
Yeah.
Really is. Were you in radio in New York at all?
No.
You never did radio in New York. But did you ever do radio at all?
I did Sirius XM. I think before it was actually Sirius XM when it was just Sirius, I think. And I had like a radio show that I kind of mailed in, but it's something I always wanted to do, but it just never really happened. In retrospect, I think it's probably a good thing that I never really got into the whole radio thing, because it kind of forced me to be independent.
Yeah. One last question, Vlad. What do you want people to remember? What do you want the DJ Vlad legacy to be?
Yeah. I think that I really documented the lives of a lot of really important people of this era. A lot of people did their only interview with me, did their last interview. People like John Witherspoon, his last interview, the only life story piece he's ever done was with me. A lot of people, they don't get documentaries about their lives, right? Some people do, but 99% of people, even in Hollywood, do not. And I feel like I've gotten, I've learned the skill to let people tell their story and really tell a full story from, okay, this is how, I grew up. This is what my family was like. This is how the early stages of my career formulated. These are my ups. These are my downs. These are my successes. These are my failures. And this is where I am right now. And especially with people that I just admire myself. Before I even thought about doing Vlad TV or thought about being a DJ or whatever else, I was a fan. I was a fan of music. I was a fan of movies. I was a fan of culture. So to sit down with like a Smokey Robinson. And
great interview too. That was real good.
Thank you. Thank you. It was like, wow, like this person is living history right now. He was around when Motown was formed.
Yes.
Like I would love to do Berry Gordy, but I may not get to do Berry Gordy. But I got to do Smokey Robinson, who was right there when it all happened. When Michael Jackson auditioned, he was there. When Stevie Wonder came around, he was there. Marvin Gaye, him and were rocking together and had a close relationship, and he really got to see everything that happened. Diana Ross, like all this monumental music that's still like important today. Here's how it actually happened. And to be able to sit down with that person and ask them whatever I want and really get this incredible story, it's something that's timeless. That's timeless. When you and I aren't around, I think people are still going to watch this
How
interview.
did you hook up with Smokey? That was real random.
It was, people constantly pitch interviews to us. It's like, we deal with publicists, we deal with, brokers that kind of get paid to set up these interviews. I have people like Evan, my assistant, that reach out to people. We see what other interviews they're doing. There's like a million different ways. People email us, people's cousins email us, oh, my cousin, wants to do something, whatever else. And it's like, to really sit down with someone. And when I get the occasional email say, hey, listen, like, I just got my PhD and your interviews were sort of the basis of a lot of my thesis and everything else like that, or kids who do school reports and they use my interviews as a basis. Yes, like sometimes what I do is what me and you do, which is more of a current events kind of thing where we go through things that are happening. But usually when I sit down with someone for the first time, it's just like when I sat down with you for the first time, I kind of get that person's life story. And that's sort of what I try to do in the very beginning. And that's what I hope that I'm remembered for. At the end of the day, you don't know how you're going to be remembered. But I feel that, I mean, Vlad TV started in 2008. I never stopped. I never took a year off. I never took a break. Like, I've been putting out content every year, 365 days a year, nonstop, because I feel like I'm on a mission to really create this body of work. And I feel like in hip hop, I think very few people have a body of work like mine. Now, there are people like Sway that have been around longer, people like Big Boy that have been around longer, but I feel like the body, you know, the amount of content I put out and so forth, I feel stands right up there with all of them. So that's what I want to be remembered by. And, you know, I hope that I am remembered fondly, and I hope that my kids could, you know, benefit from what I put into this world. And hopefully Vlad TV will continue even when I'm gone.
Here it is.
Yes, sir.